I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV, FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Appreciate us fired up on a Wednesday. A little hot outside, humid outside. It was about 90 when you walked in here today. Kyle loves that. I think that stinks, so we'll crank it down, get it cool, and we're ready to entertain for the next 3 hours or so. If you guys are on board with it, got a lot of conversation. We are nearing the time when we start going up to Westfield and covering the Colts at camp. That is getting near. You got some rookie report dates, I think, already have fallen out of the NFL. One's in Denver. I think the other is in Arizona. So, and before you know it, and we always get the countdown, like somebody sent on my Twitter account, somebody sent this out over the weekend that we only had like 7 more weekends without the NFL. I will say this, because it's coming, and because it'll be fantastic whenever it's going down. The NFL and college football and, you know, all that, because right now you're kind of in a neutral zone, if you will. Like, we'll talk about the Reds and the Cubs from last night. Reds and Cubs in a rubber game coming up here at 2:20 from Wrigley Field. Later on this afternoon, of course, we'll keep you updated. So there's not a great deal of things going on. I mean, simply there is not. But, you know, once we get into the football and stuff, it'll just be wall to wall. I tend to, this time of year, try to soak up everything else that is going on, which means trying to really soak up the last couple of days, or in this case, I guess, for some of you, the last couple of weeks. For some of you, it is down to days until school gets back in session again, especially those of you on the balanced calendar. Many of you say you love it. I think it sucks, and I'm glad I'm not on it anymore. No more balanced calendar for me, baby. But, yeah, some of you got to get started here pretty soon. I remember the day, man, if we went back like August the 18th, I'd go, what in the hell are we doing going back to the August the 18th? There's no way I'm going back August the 18th. That is way damn too early. And hell, now you got going back in July. Balanced calendar. Anyway, once we get into football, it will be wall to wall, and especially with a team around here that has not just a level of expectations. People say, well, you know, you're at Indy, so you automatically think they're going to be great. That's not the case. It's not just Indy folks around here. And I kind of brought this up yesterday, and one of the reasons why I brought it up is because one of the listeners, Daniel, sent this out because it's his angle that he believes the Colts are overrated or going to be overrated, i.e. that a lot of fans are going to be disappointed at the outcome of the season because by virtue of what we saw a year ago was more schedule-based than it is talent-level-based in reality. And there is a legit argument to be had there, but I don't know if I buy it. I think, to me, and I'll have to ask you this as a Connecticut Water question of the day a little bit later on, I think that the lofty expectations, for example, I put out there, AFC title game or bust, I think those lofty expectations are legit. And again, it's not just us around here talking about it. It's not just us talking about it because, oh, by the way, we just so happen to be the home of the Colts here. It has nothing to do with that. It does have everything to do with reality. And also because you do listen to what everybody else is talking about. And I mean, hell, just like the rest of the world, we all just kind of fall in line with a lot of things, right? And you especially enjoy when folks nationally are talking good about your squad. You love that. And I've often said that about this station around here. Indianapolis radio is somewhat unique, and here's why. You do want to hear, and I've always said this, the reason I don't get on here every day and tell you that, you know, you're getting the absolute truth and I'm the only person to tell you the truth is because that's what you expect whenever I crack the mic. I mean, why the hell should I have to tell you that? You should already know that. There's no reason for me to already have to tell you that. Isn't that what you expect? Or do you expect somebody to blow some smoke up your ass? No, that's what you expect. That's what happens when I sit down. I mean, that's just what happens in general in my life. So I don't have to get on a soapbox and tell you about, oh, the truth, and I'm telling you the truth because you already know that. I mean, hell, if you don't already know that, then why are you listening? But there's no fancy of the fan right here. It is legit. This is where this team should go. I mean, in the NFL, it's always some sort of stepping stone process. If you remember back during the Pagano and the Grigson era, first 3 years they were here of that organization. General manager, head coach, you had the rookie Andrew Luck, and they took those steps. Remember? And the steps ended in the AFC title game. It was getting into the postseason, and then it was winning a postseason game, and then it was getting to the AFC title game. And then it was Bob Kravitz having really one of the stories probably of the decade, to be honest with you. I mean, I make fun of it because it's laughable, but listen, anybody out there that's doing what Bob does or anybody else does, that was a nugget that was fantastic, the whole football deflation, inflation, whatever. And he had the story of the decade, involving the Patriots. But from that point on, that was the level in which, the next step should have been Super Bowl, and instead everything fell apart, including the quarterback, because of injuries. So this right now is just a logical next step. And it's, okay, you surprised everybody, and that's normally the way that it goes. And I've equated this to the Pacers because 2 years ago, everybody just said, hey, as long as you play hard, everything's good. All right, you had Paul George. He gave the town a hosing. Oh, but he let everybody know. He still hosed. He was hosing. There was hosing going on, but he let everybody know. But the expectations were play hard. Play hard, and you like Vic. And I guess from afar, you kind of noticed Sabonis. I mean, hell, I watched all these WCC games every night, so I knew they're just going to play hard, and it's something that you can be proud of. And there's a shelf life for that. It's like there's a shelf life for having great guys. And it's fantastic to have a great locker room with good dudes, because it sucks to have a bunch of buttholes on your team. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, at some point, you have to win. You have to be able to say, hey, we got great guys, but hey, we can also win at X or Y level. And with the Pacers 2 years ago, it was a surprise. Everybody felt really good. You take LeBron to the brink in Cleveland, 7 games, first round, and the next step wasn't reached the next year because of injury. So you get a do-over. You get an absolute do-over. Now you look at the Pacers season, and while I sit here and maintain that go ahead and raise the bar. I mean, hell, look at the Eastern Conference landscape right now. I mean, you could say what you want about what the Pacers did or Pacers did not do. One thing in which is somewhat new that I'll get into regarding Tobias Harris in just a second. But regardless what you think, I still expect this Pacer team, I expect them to challenge at a high level according to the Eastern Conference standards, because frankly, outside of 3 or so teams, they should. I mean, unless Vic doesn't come back, or Vic comes back and is not even close to being Vic, or, if the big man thing just doesn't work out, I mean, you still have a parachute if you want it. If it doesn't work and it's not going to work, then you still can parachute out of that at some point in February. But I still think a lot of things have to go wrong for the Pacers not to be mid-level Eastern Conference, maybe above average Eastern Conference. I said around 5, somewhere in that neighborhood, just like last year, to be competitive at that level. Because really, I mean, look at Toronto. Toronto may be the only team, and I'd have to do the research on this, or at least Kyle might have to do the research. Toronto may be the only team in history to win a championship and then not get a Christmas Day game. I don't know if that's ever happened. That is some unique stuff right there. It's worth it. It'd be great. But I can't remember a time when a team won a title and probably won't get a Christmas Day game. Because the Eastern Conference, you look around the landscape, and we've talked about this, there are winnable games there. So, I mean, even with the type of start that you kind of expect without Vic, I think that they can catch up. So I'm going to keep expectations high. I think Pacer fans should keep expectations high. With the Colts, I mean, it has been, awful, no luck. Luck came back, and all of a sudden he started getting into it. They had a bad start, caught fire at the end, won a playoff game, lose to Kansas City, and Kansas City obviously was a D Ford offsides from going to the Super Bowl. So you would have to think that the logical next step for the Colts would be, to me, what is going to be necessary is to host a divisional round playoff game. And if they host a divisional round playoff game, my expectation is they win. So to me, it is AFC title game. It's kind of easy to figure out because normally this is how protocol goes in the NFL. It's tougher to figure out when you're coming from an NBA angle. Give you a great example of the whole NBA situation right now. So Bob Kravitz is on the show yesterday, and Bob Kravitz writes for The Athletic. And his latest column talks about the Pacers and where they are, stuck in purgatory, and it's the NBA's fault. All right, sure. NBA's fault, that's okay. And I know that a lot of us get off by sitting around here and going, oh, woe is us. We're the little city that could almost and didn't. And everybody looks at us and nobody wants to be here and everything stinks and we're always going to be mediocre and everything's against us. But Kevin Pritchard and the staff, they take a different tact with this. I mean, they just attack it as, hey, what are you going to do about it? I mean, you expect Adam Silver all of a sudden to say, hey, you know what? With all this player movement that has probably been more popular, and I mean to people that actually are paying attention, more popular than your playoffs. I mean, you can make an argument. This player movement of this offseason may be or may have been to this point more popular than your postseason. So you think the NBA is going to change that around anytime soon? I mean, you think you're going to get enough small markets together to say, hey, you know what? This is not working. We're sick and tired of it, and we're not going to take it anymore. No, I mean, you just got to do what you can do. Milwaukee's doing what they can do. I mean, they drafted a guy that turned into an elite-level player, arguably the best player in the NBA. Utah's going at it. Utah's small market. I know they have mountains, snow, and you can do all this. I mean, Utah's going at it. So the Pacers just take the tact of, hey, you know what? These are the cards that were dealt, and this is what we're going to do. And that's what you have to do. And it's just going to be tougher for them. That's a big difference between that and the NFL. I think we're seeing right now with Chris Ballard, though, at least for the first couple of years here, when you really draft well and you position yourself with a plan as they have had and you follow that and you get some really high-level scouting going to find some guys like Darius Leonard that everybody's in love with right now, what can happen and happen a little bit earlier than everybody would expect. But those expectations are going to be clearly high. AFC title game or bust this year. I don't think there's any question about that. I'm going to put that up as a Connecticut Water question of the day. AFC title game, Super Bowl, divisional round, home game, or lower? Or listener Daniel, is he right? I mean, is there an overrated factor here in what people are viewing and how they see the season coming up by virtue of the schedule from a year ago compared to the schedule that they're going to get coming up in 2019? What is more real here? And listen, I mean, really, nobody ever doubles back. I mean, hell, I'm the only one around here that ever calls myself out for stupidity. I mean, everybody else hopes that you forget about it. Just moves on. Yeah, I forget. Did you forget? Okay. Yeah, I said that like 3 months ago, but yeah, I hope you forgot. I mean, we can go back and you can say, well, you know what, you're wrong about that. They weren't as good as what you thought. They were overrated. And we'll do the same with you. Even though you'll probably hide it. Hide it on Twitter. Yeah, I didn't say that. But I think the expectations are absolutely right where they need to be. Because when you look around, and did I ask Bob this? Who did I ask this yesterday about the comparison of eras? Is there a chance that this era of Ballard and Reich can be equal to or greater than the era of Dungy and Polian? Now, it's a little bit different because the era of Dungy and Polian started with Manning. You know, they brought Manning, and not so much Dungy. Dungy was the last piece to that. But, I mean, when you look around, there are a lot of individual elite level, or at least belief and elite level parts that would be necessary to sustain like that. And I never was somebody that thought, well, you win one Super Bowl and you lose another, you only get the two. And I never thought at all that that was a disappointment with the Dungy and the Polian and the Manning years. Never thought it once. I remember sitting at the other station after the Colts won Super Bowl 41, and I said, hey, you know what? Because up until then, it was playoff disappointment. New England gets you again. You know, disappointment here, disappointment there, and then finally broke through, and they won. And I remember saying this. I said, you'll never have to explain yourself again. You got that. But that's a bit naive because in this world, and it's even more so now than it was then, in this world, you're constantly trying to explain yourself because now if you win one, a week later, especially if you have superstars on your team, a week later they're going to say, so what, do it again. Hell, not even a week later. You don't even get a week to celebrate it. I think one of the bigger differences between that particular era and this one is what was in front of that era, which was a hell of a lot of losing. From the time the Mayflower got here, there was a hell of a lot of losing. There were losing songs, people sitting on billboards, nobody's having sex until the Colts win. I'm assuming some of you probably weren't doing it anyway. There's a lot of that going on. It was a punchline. Oh, man, there's no greater punchline back before Polian and Manning and then ultimately Dungy got here than the Colts in the NFL, other than, you know, a basic 3-week run in the postseason with Ted Marchibroda and Jim Harbaugh. In 1995, that was it. That was it. So, I mean, there's going to be more, as I said yesterday, I think this was to Bob, I can't remember. There's going to be more of a love fest, obviously, and because everybody loves Manning, as we have seen in research studies, I would have to raise my hand there. I'm a huge Manning fan. You guys know that. You know, that said, is there a chance? Is there a chance that this era can be equal to, greater than the Polian, Dungy, Manning era? Throw that out there, too. That sounds like a Connecticut water question of the day, if you need that. All right, 239-1070. Email address is jmv at 1070thefan.com. We'll ask Stephen Holden that coming up at the 4 o'clock hour. Kevin Bowen's going to join me at 5. I'm going to get my guy, Amp Harris, in here coming up at 4:30. I am participating, depending upon how I feel, coming up on Sunday evening in the Amp Harris-Reggie Wayne basketball game. I think I've done this like 4 or 5 times. It's always a blast. You get Colts players out there. You get local folks out there. You get Chris Hagan and his ginger hair and a headband, which is just always ill-advised, but it always happens anyway. But it's over at the convention center, and it's very entertaining and a good time. And I want Amp to talk it up because Amp does a great job in the community, especially for Indiana Black Expo. And Amp's going to join me coming up at 4:30. We'll talk about that, how you can get in there, how you can meet some of these folks, and when he's going to get Teddy Riley on this show later on this week, too. We'll talk about that. Amp's going to join me coming up at 4:30 today. Goo Goo Dolls and train tickets we'll give away a little bit later on as well. Now, I mentioned, and this was from J. Michael, the Star. I just saw this in a blurb. I think Nat Newell had tweeted this out. And it was Tobias Harris. I don't have it in front of me right now. I'm just going to go by recollection. But Tobias Harris had a conversation about free agency. And if you remember, I had told you that it was Tobias Harris and Chris Middleton that declined a conversation with the Pacers. They had no interest. And listen, it's understandable, but it is also an issue for the Pacers when people say, hey, you know what, you didn't even try to get these guys. Why did you not even try to get these guys? When they do try to have interest in these guys and they don't have interest in them. Well, Tobias Harris apparently in this interview suggested that the reason why he did not give the Pacers an interview is because he knew that they would not give him the max. And you get a little bit of, oh my goodness, why would you not? Why in the world would the Pacers give Tobias Harris the max? I think he's a good player. But anybody out there, if you read that, did you guys want Tobias Harris that bad? Because I don't. I didn't. And I'm sure he'll play really well in Philly. How much did Philly end up giving Tobias Harris? He didn't get a max there, did he? Oh, he got a max in Philly? How much? There's no way. Would you give Tobias Harris a max?
Absolutely not. No way.
And it's not even sitting here and thinking about it from a Pacer standpoint. If you're handing out max contracts, I'll give you a great example of the guys that went other places. Who are the guys that we give max contracts to? If you're a Pacer fan.
Of the free agents from
anybody. Would you give a max type of deal to who?
Probably only Kawhi, Giannis, Klay Thompson, Steph, James Harden. There's probably only about 7 or 8 guys that I think are worthy of that max deal.
Westbrook, Walker, would you?
I would not Westbrook. Dame Lillard, I would.
See, to me, and maybe my brain doesn't match up with the actual stats and numbers or the analytics of it, but the names that you mentioned right now, I don't put Tobias Harris in that category.
No.
I don't. So while everybody's kind of freaking out over it, my first thought was good. Okay, good. Sounds good to me. But it's just a blurb. There's nothing major, and I don't think Tobias Harris meant anything by it. Whatever. But yeah, screw that. Tobias Harris for a max? Anybody be all in with that? It's not going to be me. We'll discuss that coming up a little bit later on as well. 239-1070. Email address is JMV at 1070thefan.com. Yeah, I was actually, I'll tell you what, I'll share this a little bit later on. It's kind of funny. More of a personal note. This is kind of funny than anything else. I'll share that coming up a little bit later on. Hey, quick shout, by the way. Quick shout down at Big Splash. Big Splash is down in French Lick. Now, for the adults go over to the casino and hang out, but the kids go to Big Splash. So if you're down at Big Splash, if you're a worker at Big Splash, or if you're there, just be ready because my kids are down there and they probably aren't going to listen to a lot. So just be ready. Big Splash. I love Big Splash. The only problem is if you ever go to Big Splash, and this is coming from a parent that's been through it, if you go to Big Splash, always ask for a room on the 4th floor. Because if you don't, you're going to hear everything that goes on around you. Everything above you is going to be heard. And some of it you did not want to hear. Promise. So if you ever go to Big Splash, that's it. That is it. Anyway, 239-1070. We'll get back to you coming up on the other side. The Tobias Harris stuff I know got a little bit of spark in you, but there's no way. I mean, if you kind of point the finger, everybody points the finger. It's like the whole thing with Kawhi Leonard in the trade. Everybody uses that and makes a joke about it. I mean, hell, everybody knew exactly what was going down, and there's nobody around here that knew Kawhi Leonard when he was coming out of San Diego State. Everybody says, oh, yeah, everybody knew. Nobody knew anything, and you know how that went down. It is such a story of convenience. I mean, it's just stupid. I think you have to be really stupid to use that and say, well, look what they messed up here. And I've always said it. Listen, you can say, hey, your evaluation has to be better. How did you not see this? Fine. But for the deal, everybody in the world was on board with that, and only numbnuts still use that as an argument. So if you use that as an argument, you're a huge numbnuts. Quick one. Holder, top of the hour. Bowen coming up. I got a big day coming up tomorrow. I'll explain that to you. And coming up into this week, our Backyard Bourbon broadcast number 2 for the month of July. We'll announce that winner and a new wrinkle to the world's greatest afternoon backyard party. A new wrinkle that I'll tell you about coming up too. Back with you next.
Having ED issues? Locally owned Men's Health Solutions has a $75 initial appointment fee that includes a test dose of medication and sample meds. menshealthsolutions.us.
You finally decided to get that new car, and all you want is a fair deal, a dependable set of wheels, and a dealer who will take care of you after the sale. Penske Chevrolet at 96 in Keystone knows that you have a choice, and that's why this is their mission. At Penske Chevrolet, you get top-notch support after that great deal. Jay Smith and Brett Rosie guarantee it, and in addition, you get a vehicle that won J.D. Power's most dependable small car, compact SUV, or large heavy-duty pickup award in 2019. No matter if you're buying or leasing, Penske has you covered. The 2019 Equinox is just $199 a month for 36 months and 10,000 miles a year, or you can get 0% financing for 60 months. $199 a month will put you into the brand new Silverado LD for 36 months and 10,000 miles, or get 0% financing for 84 months and own it for good. The lease on the 2019 Traverse is only $299 a month, and if you're a Corvette owner and would like a 2019 Indy 500 Corvette Parade car, you can take $12,500 off at Penske Chevrolet. That's 96 in Keystone and online at PenskeChevyIndy.com. Chevy finding roads.
Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Live. An unforgettable evening of Led Zeppelin's greatest hits and deepest cuts. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. This Saturday night, 8 p.m. Murat Theater at Old National Center. Reserve seats on sale now at the Old National Center box office or online at Ticketmaster.com. Part of the Cricket Concert Series.
You forget something?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to be able to pick up Braden tonight after practice.
Oh, did something come up at work?
Nah, not even going to make it in today.
Why? What's going on?
Well, I'm coming up on some construction in about a quarter mile. I've already started ignoring the signs. In a minute, I'll force my way through traffic while texting. I'll pull the wheel a little too far and drive right through the barrels where I'm going to hit a few workers. One of them is going to get killed, so then I'm going to be arrested and charged with vehicular manslaughter.
No one plans on having an accident, but you can plan to avoid one. Read the signs. Slow down. Stay alert.
This is Ray Hobbs, business manager of Labor's Local 741. Every year, not only do accidents in the construction zone kill and injure workers, they can also cost you, the driver, thousands of dollars in time in jail.
A message from Indiana Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122 or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
Hubler has it. Savings. Hubler has it. Choices. Hubler has it. Hubler has it all.
Indiana's auto giant is changing car buying forever. Introducing a warranty so huge, you can drive around the world 8 times and still be covered. It's Hubler Auto Group's massive 10-year, 200,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Shop any new vehicle at all Hubler locations with the warranty included. Chevys, Buicks, GMCs, and Fords. The warranty's included. Acuras, Hondas, Nissans, and Mazdas. The warranty's included. The Hubler family has helped Hoosiers for 60 years, and we're not stopping now. Visit drivehubler.com for the perfect car and our 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. As Indiana's auto giant, Hubler has it all. Why buy anywhere else? You're invited to Hubler. Click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it. Hubler has it all.
Warranty available on new vehicles, except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. A copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
This weekend at the brand new Helium Comedy Club, former UFC star turned comedian Brendan Schaub takes the stage for 5 huge shows this Thursday through Saturday. You know Brendan from his appearances on The Joe Rogan Experience and as the co-host of the Fighter and the Kid podcast.
Helium Comedy Club is located downtown at the corner of Georgia and Meridian next to Burger Study in the Circle Center Mall. For more info on upcoming shows or for tickets, visit heliumcomedy.com. That's heliumcomedy.com. Helium Comedy Club. Eat, drink, and be entertained.
Indy 11's home unbeaten streak is 1 year in the making. Watch the boys in blue extend the run this Saturday at 7 p.m. versus Loudoun United FC. Get tickets now at indy11.com.
Sports with Dan Dockett.
Malcolm Brogdon, newest Pacer, joins us. What was your impression of the Pacers?
Exactly what I thought coming in. Class A organization, a great front office. Everybody seems to be on the same page. You know, they have a lot of confidence in this team. They want Victor to be their star. They're happy with the guys they have, and they want the team to build around them. I think they have a great coach in Coach McMillan, and it's one of the more defensive-minded teams, which I think is special, and that's what will take this team over the hump.
Dan Dockett, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Cubs 2, Reds nothing. Bottom of 4, that's Darvish and Sonny Gray. I think Chris Bryant's got a yard. Reds blew it last night. I mean, you got, who they were facing some double-A pitcher or something, weren't they? I think they were facing somebody that was pitching on the south side the night before. And they scored 3 in the first, and missed a lot of opportunities last night. They lose. Cubs, bottom of the 4th inning, batting with a 2-0 advantage over the Cubs. Hey, tomorrow's show, I mentioned this. I've had this dude on before. It's one of my favorite all-time bands, and he's going to join me tomorrow, and he is a huge sports guy. He's a huge NFL and fantasy football guy. Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains is going to join me tomorrow, and I am fired up for that. I think maybe 3 years ago, I think he was on. 3 years ago, they were doing a show up to Mira, and we went over to watch it, and it was awesome. This year, later on this summer, they're out at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center with the band Korn. But tomorrow, Jerry Cantrell is going to join us. I'm going to get Ted Bishop on to talk about the Open. And I got to thank Ted. I've been trying to track down Tommy John forever. So we're going to get that done too. But I'm going to get Ted Bishop on the show tomorrow, which should be fantastic. And I mentioned my man App Harris is lining up Teddy Riley for me. We may end up doing just like a major sports and music Thursday, because I got like 2 Hall of Fame worthy dudes coming on this show. Both those guys come on. But yeah, Cantrell is awesome. Absolutely awesome in conversation. And he's going to join us coming up tomorrow. JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address. JMV, when it comes to the Colts now versus the Manning era, I think this team could be more successful in terms of Super Bowls won. But like you and Kravis discussed yesterday, the impact of the Manning era can't really be repeated. That's exactly right. I feel kind of the same way about the Pacers in that the team may be more successful in the future, but there really won't be anything as fun as the Reggie versus the Knicks era of the 90s. Maybe that's just a view from an almost 50-year-old that's a little sad, but that's the way that I see it. That's Mike in Portland, Oregon. Yeah, I'm almost a 50-year-old too, and that's kind of how I see it. In fact, yeah, regarding the Colts, that's exactly how I see it. With comparing eras. But a lot has to go into it, and a lot of stuff that we wouldn't sit around here and consider right now, and certainly it all revolves around injuries, availability, and good fortune. But that is certainly an opportunity, I think. So Scott, JMV, saying, why didn't the Pacers go after Kawhi? Is like someone saying to me, hey, why did you not try to date J-Lo? And at what point do we realize it takes both sides to be interested? Well, I mean, some won't. And anytime somebody considers a higher-level player, says something like Tobias Harris reportedly said, this is the reason why I didn't have any interest. I mean, everybody's going to blow it out of proportion, but I'd sit here right now pissed if the Pacers would give him a max. I wouldn't want that. Anybody around here right now believe that he's worthy of a max? Here. And I'm not arguing this. I mean, hell, Philadelphia's probably, And there's really no probably about it. They should be the team to beat. I mean, if they didn't get rid of too much of their bench, and they're going to have to play a lot of bigs too. I mean, everybody's talking about the Pacers and, oh my, is this whole big man experiment going to work? Hey, get ready, because Philadelphia is going to be playing a lot of bigs at the same time. But to me, outside of Milwaukee, that's probably the team to beat in the East. I think Boston's a little bit behind. If you were to ask me right now, I'd say Philly, if they don't get all discombobulated, and Milwaukee as the top two in the East. Sitting here right now. It's from Justin. Those guys are all-stars. Tobias Harris definitely is not an all-star. I just maxed out deal. You got to be kidding me. So what? Good. Seems like there's logical thinking right there. At least to me it is. Hey, JMV, is a Reds fan, there is nothing more disappointing than watching the Reds on a nightly basis. One night you feel really good, and the next night they make you feel dreadful. You could see it coming a mile away. And that's what happens in baseball, especially when you're a team and you're playing a good team, which clearly the Cubs should be, and at times are, but haven't been consistently this year. Because let's face it, I mean, it should be the Cubs. To me, the Cubs and the Brewers should battle it out. And then put the Cardinals in there somewhere. In the Central, the Cubs have certainly played down to the rest of the field to this point. Does Derek Dietrich he gets hit by a pitch every time he gets in the box?
I think that went off his kneecap.
Did it?
A curveball came in.
He not only gets hit in the elbow. How many times has he been hit by a pitch this year? Didn't he get hit like 3 or 4 times in one game against the Brewers? Yeah, Darvish was kind of laughing about it. I mean, that's legit too. And he doesn't try to get out of the way. He just kind of hangs. He lets it hit him. He just hangs right there. And then Darvish has his hands on his hips like, hey, can you not try to get out of the way of it? He just stands right there and lets it go. That is so true. Yeah, but I would agree with you, too. You watch the Reds this year, especially as much as I watch them, and then one game like they did on Monday night, you feel really good. Man, here we go. And then, the next night they score 3 in the first, and you feel really good, and they should have done more damage than they didn't. They just kind of read you a little bit. And that's unfortunate, because things certainly should be better. JMV, did you ever think Polian might come down to your station and lay the hammer down on Mark Patrick after their exchange back in December of 2001? No, because Bill wanted to do that. I mean, that whole thing regarding Bill and Jay Moore, Bill wanted to do that. And always, to me, the most hilarious part of the story was then communications director Craig Kelly. He was trying to hang up the phone because Bill was going crazy and Jay Moore was laughing, and it was just a huge debacle. But it was great. It was great radio. But Bill was screaming and yelling, and Craig was trying to hang up the phone. Like, Bill was doing it from his office, and Craig was trying to hang up the phone. And while Craig was trying to hang up the phone, Bill had a receiver in his right hand talking and was fighting Craig off with his left arm, which is awesome. That's probably the best thing ever right there. Having been right there to be a part of that, that was pretty amazing. But yeah, Bill's on the phone talking, yelling, screaming at Jay Moore, and Craig Kelly's fighting him off. Or check that, Bill's fighting Craig Kelly off with his left arm because Craig wanted to hang up the phone. Beautiful. It's from Doug Thrasher. Hey, JMV, the Sixers, Bucks, Raptors, and Celtics have taken steps back from last year, in my opinion. The East is wide open. I don't know if I buy, and maybe it's the Brogdon factor that you're alluding to here. I don't know if I completely buy the Bucks factor, but I can see this Sixer thing maybe not working out. I like this Sixer group better than I do without Jimmy Butler. I didn't like the whole Jimmy Butler part of the equation. But I don't think there's any doubt the Raptors, and I'm not as in love with the Celtics as everybody else might be in the NBA landscape. I'm not. And I think that's kind of, everybody's in love with the Celtics. I'm not as in love with them. But I don't think there's any question. I think that Kemba Walker is a better fit for them than Kyrie Irving. Yeah, Dietrich had to go to the bench, didn't he? I was kind of wondering, like, Philip Irvin goes out there. Philip Irvin, like, gets a hit every time he's up in the last couple of weeks. Why don't they play him more? Am I not allowed to question the managerial skill here? Yeah, you might be right on a little bit. I don't know if I buy the Bucks, though, Doug. Not too much. Celtics, maybe. The Raptors, certainly. And, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Listen, everybody talks about the Pacers going big, but look at Philly. You cannot tell me that Horford's not going to be out there a great deal, and Horford's going to be out there a great deal with Embiid. 239-1070. We'll get you on hold. Talk to you. Stephen Holder after 4 and Paris 4:30. Kevin Bowen in studio 5 o'clock hour. I've got tickets to give away. Jay Cantrell of Alice in Chains on tomorrow's show. Ted Bishop talks the Open coming up on tomorrow's show, and a lot more. We're going to a busy week. And the latest wrinkle for the Backyard Bourbon broadcast. Hopefully this excites you. Remind me, and I'll tell everybody this tease on the other side next.
So, you think you know horses? Well, take our online quiz to find out. You could be the lucky winner of a VIP prize pack, courtesy of Indiana Horse Racing Commission.
Are you an overthinker? Hi, Rick Edelman here, host of The Rick Edelman Show right here every weekend. In 3 decades of serving folks like you here at Edelman Financial Engines, we've met a lot of folks who were trapped because they were overthinking their financial decisions. We get it. This can be scary stuff. You work really hard and you make a lot of sacrifices to save all your money. And well, just imagine if you make a mistake. Bad investment choices, the wrong mortgage, incorrect insurance coverage. It's enough to keep anyone awake at night. So here are 2 pieces of advice to help you solve the problem. First, realize that most decisions can be changed. And second, it's not just you, it's we. You don't have to go it alone. Let us help you. You'll get our experience and our expertise. So call us at Edelman Financial Engines. It's one decision you don't have to overthink. Call us at 888-PLAN-RIC. That's 888-PLAN-RIC. Or visit us at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com.
We're all trying to get in a little bit better shape these days. Some of us use the weight room, some like to run and hike, while others play the sports we love. But unfortunately, almost all of us will end up with some kind of ailment from trying to stay fit, and that's where Franciscan Health Orthopedics comes in. They'll fix what ails you so you can stay active. Again, it's okay to push yourself, but sometimes we go too far. And when that happens, the orthopedic experts at Franciscan Health are there for you. From sprains and tears to fractures and dislocations, they'll get you back in the game. Franciscan Health Orthopedics, inspiring health.
Hey, Johnny, for 1 hour heating and air conditioning, man, you got to make sure this weekend. Here we go. They're talking upper 90s, triple digits approaching. If for nothing else, your system is going to be getting worked. And I mean absolutely worked. What do you need? 1 hour heating and air conditioning, 844-1-HOUR. And right now, with any repair call, you get the free service call, absolutely free, with any repair. So take advantage of it. Make sure right now that everything's running smoothly, because this weekend, the last thing you want is for a breakdown to screw up everything. And that's what happens when your cooling unit breaks down when it's hot like this. Really, anytime like this. Stay cool and comfortable with 1 hour heating and air conditioning. That's 844-1-HOUR. Tell them I sent you. 844-1-HOUR today.
For the extraordinary Hoosiers who grow our food, feed our minds, make us safe, and keep us free. An extraordinary celebration. Your Indiana State Fair salutes Heroes in the Heartland. Presented by Indiana Donor Network. Get discount tickets till August 1st at indianastatefair.com. Heroes in the Heartland. Your Indiana State Fair. August 2nd through 18th.
Indy 11's home unbeaten streak is now 1 year in the making, and you can watch the boys in blue extend the run this Saturday night. Save your seats now at Indy11.com for Saturday's 7 p.m. kickoff against Loudoun United FC. Tailgate lots open at 4, and the official 11 tailgate at Job Site Supplies starts at 5. Don't miss the only chance to catch Indy 11 at home in July. Save your seats for as little as $11 at 317-685-1100 or Indy11.com. Indy 11, the world's game, Indiana's team.
Hey, it's Dan Dykich here from my friends at Window Nation. The intense summer heat is back, causing your old leaky windows to produce unnecessary high energy bills. Also allowing damaging UV rays to fade your valuables and making your windows even less effective. Listen up, while the kids are at camp and families are taking vacation, my trusted friends at Window Nation, the ones with more than 80,000 satisfied customers, including me, and an A Better Business Bureau rating, well, they have extra capacity right now, and they have to keep the factory busy and the installers working. So for the first time ever, I get one window free for every window you buy. No minimum or maximum purchase required on all style windows. Plus, no down payment, no payment of any kind, no interest for 24 months. Buy now, start saving now, and literally pay nothing for 2 years. Trust a Window Nation company I trust. Visit windownation.com or call 866-90-NATION. Get one free for every window you buy.
Mortgage interest rates continue to drop, and we are back to those historic low levels. You have a lot more buying power. Let's get you pre-approved now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Save up to $120 with the purchase of select tires using your Big O credit card. See store for details. Now open in Whitestown.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV. FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Holder time of the hour, Athletic. Right on the NFL and the Colts have Harris, bottom of the 4, Kevin Bowen in the 5. Yeah, anyway, this, I think Dietrich gets hit by baseballs just walking around in public outside of Cincy. D-bag. 21 times this season. Where is that? He by far has been hit the most. Who's second in Major League Baseball in hit by pitches?
I can't find the second for the season. Just sort of total back to players.
21 this year alone?
Yep.
That's a lot. JMV, who the hell is Jay Moore? And can we get Mark Patrick on here, the other Hoosier Millionaire people back? That was awesome back in the day. We can get Mark back on anytime. I think Barbara Hobbs still lives around here. We've had Tony Lamont on before. I think mostly we did that back during the State Fair a couple, 3 years ago when they did the old Hoosier Millionaire reboot out there. Jay Moore was a former SNLer, comedian, and actor who, back in 2001, said on Jim Rome's radio show that Edgerrin James's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, told him that there's something about the Colts lying about Edgerrin James's injuries and condition. And we had Bill on, and Mark said, hey, Bill, if I get Jay Moore on here, would you come on and dispute this entire situation? And Bill said yes, and we got Jay Moore on, and Bill came on, and it was pure, just pure gold radio. It's the best radio that's ever been done around here, sports talk-wise, easily. And nothing better than that. And that was back before social media or anything. It was, December 2001? I'm sitting right there going, you got to be kidding me. Maybe the best part about it, though, was Bill. Bill had transcripts of what Jay Moore and Jim Rome were talking about on Jim Rome's show, and he was reading directly verbatim from the transcripts, and he was reading the Jim Rome parts, like Bill Pullen was saying, yes, Romy, dude, epic interview with Drew. It was just incredible. It is something I will never forget. It was something that they tried to confiscate immediately, and then I don't think Bill went back on with Mark forever after that. But Bill wanted to do it. It's not like anybody set him up. Bill wanted to do it. But the best part of the story I learned later was was Bill fighting off with his left arm. Craig Kelly trying to hang the phone up. Classic. Yeah. I think there are probably some tapes. I still have it on tape someplace, but there are tapes floating around. They came in and confiscated everything. Not the Colts, but they over there. It was so good. JMV, can you help us get the word out? You know how much I love Teachers Treasures, right? So Teachers Treasures is the official nonprofit partner at Colts training camp again this year. So if you can bring, just think about this. They will have collection bins for you to drop off any school supplies. And as I've talked about before, Teachers Treasures, you know how much I love teachers and how much money teachers end up spending on their classroom or on their students because their students don't have the necessary materials. Well, this is what Teachers Treasures does. They help these teachers out to do that. And I love that. I love supporting it. We're going to do another golf outing this year coming up in the early fall down at the Legends in Franklin with Ted Bishop. Again, in benefit of Teachers Treasures, I love Margaret and the gang over there. And I just saw where they're going to open up another location on the northwest side too, which is awesome. But if you're going out to Colts training camp at Grand Park in Westfield, just remember, and they take anything that you think is useful in a classroom, bring it. Drop it off in the bin, and we will certainly thank you later. And then I'll get the news out about the golf outing, which will be popping, I'm sure, coming up here in the next month or so. But it's going to be at the Legends in Franklin, and I cannot wait. Derek Dietrich has now been hit 21 times by a pitch baseball. Robles, Rizzo, LeCastro, 16, 15, and 14. So he is now 5 HBPs in front in ownership of first place in that category. 21 times this year. The 21st was today, and he had to come out. JMV, where can I drop off? I don't know where you can drop off the Teachers Treasure stuff yet. Just if you think about bring your stuff out there, they'll have bins set up. But help them out because they can certainly use it. JMV, are the Colts a Super Bowl team this year? From Rob Gilmore. Are the Colts a Super Bowl team? I'm assuming this, that I think you put them in the mix. If I'm going to say that they should make it to the AFC title game, and I think a lot of you would agree with me on that, then yeah, you got to put them in the mix. I'm not suggesting it's going to happen, but if I'm saying that, hey, put the bar at the AFC title game, divisional round playoff game at home, AFC title game. So if you're putting them, again, in the AFC title game, they should be in the mix. They should be in the conversation. I think most people probably would have them in the conversation. I know how much that worries everybody out there about the ultimate disappointing. We'll talk to Stephen Holder about that coming up at the top of the hour. Is there any way that this era of Dungy, or check that, Ballard and Reich and Luck compares to the Polian, Manning, and Dungy era? Compare it. Can be better than. And again, take what you thought. Maybe try to take what you thought out of the equation of the Colts and, just how woeful they were up until that point when Bill Polian selected Peyton Manning and then ultimately got Tony Dungy to coach this team. Can this era be equal to or greater than that one? We'll ask Stephen Holder that coming up at the top of the hour. And Paris has, a great basketball game at Paris and Reggie Wayne's. Basketball game coming up on Saturday in support of Indiana Black Expo. Am's going to join us at 4:30. Kevin Bowen's in studio at 5. Big show coming up tomorrow. Stuff to give away later on. And Tobias Harris conversation. We'll bring that up with Kevin Bowen as well. Anybody out there believe that the Pacers would be wrong in not considering offering Tobias Harris a max contract, a max deal? I'd be irate if they didn't. Or if they did, I should say. Glad that they didn't. Quick one. Hold the top of the hour. You, me, other side next.
Sports with Dan Dockage.
Brad Stevens, coach of the Boston Celtics, joins us. Carson Edwards is the talk around here.
He's not going to be asked to carry the load for us like he was at Purdue, and I've talked to Matt a lot about it. But he's a guy that has a lot of things that translate to the NBA. He's like he's got shot out of a cannon when he starts his cut. We're excited about him, and he's going to have a chance to be impactful.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Quit eating your burgers off a coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Follow your instincts to B-dubs for the new All-American Cheeseburger. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. And knock that baby down with a frosted beer at the bar. Just like the sports gods intended. The new All-American Cheeseburger at Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar! Please drink responsibly.
Thinking about getting an in-ground pool this summer? Dan Dockage for Family Leisure. You have got to check out the 16 by 32 in-ground pool special they're running for under $40,000. This 16 by 32 in-ground pool includes all the equipment, the concrete decking, and the entire pool and the installation. I went to Family Leisure for my own in-ground pool, and I got to tell you, I love it. They're pros, and they make the whole process easy. In-ground pool sale going on right now at Family Leisure. Tell them I sent you.
Well, family and fun come together.
You thought the beef and cheddar couldn't get any more delicious. And then Arby's added bacon to it. And you thought, oh, okay, but it can't get any better than that. And then Arby's made them 2 for $6. And then you thought, okay, but no, it can't get any better than that. And you were right. The bacon, beef, and cheddar, 2 for $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
At participating Arby's for a limited time.
Chronic headaches, constant sinus infections, pain and pressure. The fatigue was overwhelming.
That's Karen. She suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She'd go to urgent care, see her doctor.
And we would do the same thing. Steroids, antibiotics, nasal sprays.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty.
Now my sinus cavities are open. You can breathe on a constant basis and not get sinus infections. I don't get headaches anymore. I don't take naps anymore. I'm like, oh, this is miraculous.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure? Is it difficult to breathe through your nose? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with the Indianapolis Sinus Center. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
Do you have Medicare and Indiana Medicaid? With Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, you could be getting so much more. Anthem may provide up to $2,000 towards dental, $0 copays on many prescriptions, and up to $1,320 for over-the-counter healthcare items. Get more out of your Medicare and Medicaid coverage. Switch today. Call 866-649-8826. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is an HMO special needs plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield depends on contract renewal.
Daddy, it's really hot in the car.
Yeah, the darn air conditioning isn't working.
Take it to that rattle, rattle, thunder, clatter, boom, boom, boom.
She's right, honey. Take it to CarX. They'll fix it.
Good idea. They can check the rest of the car before we go on vacation.
Air conditioning on the fritz? CarX will inspect your air conditioning, checking the system out for only $19.99. Don't get stuck in the heat out there. Make sure your AC is working right this year.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
Brad Paisley, World Tour. This Saturday, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center with special guests Chris Lane and Riley Green. Brad Paisley. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. This Saturday, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center.
Mortgage interest rates continue to drop week after week. Don't miss your chance to lock in to one of these historically low interest rates. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
Powered by the Hubler Auto Group, a dealer to help the people. Shopping for a new or used vehicle? Click drivehubler.com for Indiana's largest selection of best deals. Hubler has it all.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, W228CX, Indianapolis. The NTT IndyCar Series races at Iowa Speedway. Saturday evening at 6:30 on FM 107.5, The Fan. You're listening to The Ride with JMV.
This will be the high point of my day. It's all downhill from here.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
It's going to end Paris bottom of the hour. His game with the Reggie Wayne coming up on Saturday. As a part of Indiana Black Expo, I'll be there playing. Some of the Colts players will be there playing. It's a good time, too. We'll talk to Amp about that bottom of the hour. Kevin Bowen in here at 5. 239-1070 is the number. We'll get back to you in a moment on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline from the Athletic. Stephen Holder joins us. What do you set the bar for the 2019 Colts?
Well, first, a piece of more important business. That's my favorite LL Cool J song probably ever. So kudos to you.
Well, let me tell you this though I'm glad you brought this up. I think that this hip hop historically speaking, it is highly underrated. It never gets the love. You know what I mean?
I know.
Never,
yeah,
even with LL, everybody's going to bring up Radio. Everybody's going to bring up Mama Say Knock You Out. Everybody's going to bring up Bad. And Around the Way Girl is just kind of left out. But to me, it is right up there with his, as you mentioned, his best, and is one of the iconic songs of the genre.
Yep, underrated. So, like LL himself. So, and one quick aside, too. Back in the day when I was still dating my wife, we ran into LL Cool J filming a video one time, and she went total fangirl on me and was just totally ignored me like I wasn't even there. It was so embarrassing. So I have mixed feelings about the guy.
Well, I think part of it, especially in his early years, you kind of had to, if your girl was around him, I think you kind of had to keep your eye on her. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, really? I'm right here. Right here. So yeah, he was filming a video in Miami, and she was like, "Yo, I gotta go. LL's over there." I'm like, what? I still, to this day, I'm scarred by it. But anyway.
That's fantastic. Hey, by the way, too, he's been on my show before, and he's an awesome interview. Awesome.
That's great, man. Nah, he seems like he's good people, man. I like that guy. Colts. It's football season. The bar. I would say the bar is they got to win the division, as far as I'm concerned, and then I think after that, I think when they get to that point, if they get to that point, we'll know whether they're a contender or not. I think on paper we want to call them a contender, but that's all it is right now. It's just on paper. I think there's a lot of teams. We go through this every year, right? There are teams that we project as contenders, and then it never happens. So I'm not saying that's going to happen here. I'm just saying there are teams that get identified as such every year, and it never materializes. So right now it's all on paper, but I think that's all we can do. I think on paper they're potentially a contender, but I'd like to see them go win the division, and then we'll see what happens from there.
I expect them. To me, I set the bar at the AFC title game. Is that unrealistic? Too high?
I mean, I think. Look, if you're talking over or under, I mean, I think the bar should probably be where they were last year. And if you go with the overs, and the overs, the AFC Championship game. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
One more win than last year, basically, would put them there. So I don't think it's unrealistic. And here's why. Another reason why is this is a team that is a growing team. Okay, they do have some key veterans, starting with the quarterback and some other guys. But I think the core of this team, okay, the guys who are really fueling this thing, they're the young guys, and they should get better. And, from year 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, those guys should be improving. Look, they're the players who are going to get rewarded here and who have been rewarded with contract extensions. They're young guys, the Kenny Moores and guys like that. I mean, how much better can Darius Leonard be next year? I don't know that answer, but the truth of the matter is you don't expect him to take a step back, right? I mean, so you certainly don't expect Quentin Nelson to take a step back. I mean, these are guys who were sort of just playing instinctively last year because they were good football players and smart football players. But now, that learning and that maturation can continue. And I just think that is what will help potentially lift this team to a higher level.
Stephen Holder, The Athletic, he is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. You look at a guy like Darius Leonard and what you got as a rookie out of him if you're the Colts and what he expects from himself. We'll ask us about Ebron coming off of last year in a moment, but he wants to raise the bar. Leonard does a great deal. Do you think that that's out of the realm of what he can reach in year number 2 as an NFLer, or you think that is something that's within his grasp?
I think there's room to grow for Darius Leonard. And one area where I see that, I'm going to address this here in the early stages of training camp, but this defense, if it wants to be what it thinks it can be, if it wants to be what Matt Eberflus envisions, they got to be a defense that goes out there and takes the ball away. And that was something I thought Darius Leonard might do a little bit more of last year. I'm not suggesting he didn't play well. I mean, the guy was amazing, right? He's defensive rookie of the year. But the one area I think there's room to grow is he can take the ball away a little more. He's a great athlete. He's instinctive. We saw him go out and effectively win the Oakland game by taking the ball away in that fourth quarter. And I think there are plays like that still on the field or on the table for him to make. And I think that's where he can be sort of I always use my Tampa days as kind of a reference. And I'm telling you, I mean, I see a real parallel between Darius Leonard and Derek Brooks. They're both undersized, both in the same scheme or a very similar scheme, and both play a similar style. Well, one thing Derek Brooks did was take the ball away, like constantly. And so I think that's an area where Darius can really grow. And if he does that, then those are the kinds of game-changing plays that Matt Eberflus is looking for, and they take your opponent's heart.
What's going to be his playing weight during the season?
I've talked to him about this. He said he played, I'm trying to remember now, I thought he said he played at like 222 last year. He likes it that way. I mean, look, he'll report a little heavier. I think, close to 230, but he won't stay there. He's just one of those guys whose metabolism, youth, man. It's like, no doubt. I wish I had it, right? But his metabolism is just off the charts, so he just loses weight throughout the season. Obviously, in the offseason, you're putting on weight because you're working out more. You're going to gain muscle and things of that nature. But in the offseason, certainly your lifting schedule changes. During the season, the lifting schedule changes. You're limited in what you can do because the emphasis is just elsewhere, right? So he'll probably play at the most in the mid 220s, and I think that's fine. That's where he wants it because the guy's game is speed and athleticism, and he has no lack in the physical part of his game. Now, if there was a lack there, then I think the Colts would have to sort of reevaluate that. But I don't think there's any reason to toy with Darius Leonard's playing weight. He plays a very physical brand of football, and he does it at a weight that allows him to play fast. So I leave it alone.
Hey, Stephen, a year ago, the big story going in was clear. It was luck. And I remember the day we were out there and he came out and first started throwing the football and everybody was cheering. And that was the storyline going in. What is the storyline going in this year?
I think it's expectations, kind of what we just talked about. I mean, it's a little different now, okay? And I talked about how they're a young team and many of their core players are very young. I don't think they're going to be fazed because they've got the right coach. And if you know Frank Reich, you know that he has a great way about sort of influencing the team's mentality, right? That being said, I do think that this is a different approach for them this year. They've never been the hunted. This is very, very different. This has been, I guess, going back to 2015 was the last time we talked about the Colts nationally as much as they have this off season. Now, in retrospect, that was fool's gold. This, I think, is a little more legitimate because they're built on a more solid foundation. But be that as it may, that's a different sort of situation than they had last year. At this time last year, the expectations for the Colts were, all right, let's see if they can have a winning record. Let's see if the quarterback can play. Many, many different questions, very much different questions than they're dealing with now. So they got an X on their back. They got the target on their back, and it's cliche, but it's a real thing. They've got to show that they can play. That they can sort of play from ahead and not from behind. And we'll see if they can do that.
So Stephen Holt of The Athletic, he's joining us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Those that think that the Colts are going in from a national level, wherever, believe, if they believe that they're overrated, it's because of the schedule that they had a year ago compared to the schedule that they're going to see in 2019. How accurate would those naysayers be?
I've thought about this some, and I can't totally dismiss it. Right? I don't think there's a lot to it because at the end of the day, they went out and they won 9 out of 10 games. I mean, that's hard. I don't care who you're playing, right? But look, I get it. I mean, they didn't play a ton of playoff teams, and look, they certainly didn't go out and have to play the top quarterbacks in the NFL. So, if you're going to knock the defense, that's one way to knock them. But I think those arguments in the NFL tend to be overrated, and I think at the end of the day, most of this all sort of evens out in the end. But this does feel like a harder schedule, even though I don't really subscribe to that, and I think usually that's nonsense, but I get that. It does feel like a tougher schedule. But I also think they can handle it. And I think, listen, they started out 1-5 last season. I don't see a scenario where this team starts 1-5. So they get off to a better start. I mean, they're in good shape. They can handle this. I think the goal is to not get to those tougher games, to Kansas City, et cetera, and have this sort of immense pressure on your shoulders because you got off to a slow start, right? That's what they're going to avoid. And if they do that, they're going to be fine.
It's the other thing that I ask, and listen, you probably at some point will have to write about this, maybe not right now, but I'm just kind of curious your thoughts. Is there any way that this era of Colts football with Luck and with Ballard and with Reich is equal to or could be greater than that of the era prior to, obviously, Pagano and Grigson being Dungy and Paulie and Manning?
Well, I mean, not yet, but
further down the road. Because the reason why I bring this up, here's a little background. The reason why I bring this up is because yesterday ESPN.com graded out for the next 3 years the Colts as the best team in the NFL. And it just got me to thinking, can they equate further down the road what we had seen of the great era around here, that of the Manning era, or can they surpass it at some point further down the road, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I actually don't have a problem with that projection by ESPN. I didn't see that, but I get what you're saying. I don't have a problem with that. And I'll tell you why. I mean, you look around the league, there's some young, bright stars, and there's going to be some real legit competition here for the foreseeable future. Look at that kid in Kansas City, and he scares the daylights out of you, right? However, I think top to bottom, whose roster do you like better? I like the Colts better. And I just think that if you play that game with a lot of other teams, I think you'll come to the same conclusion. I like the Colts roster currently better than just about everybody out there. I'm talking top to bottom, and in terms of what they have in terms of youth and what that can grow into, their financial situation, which gives you the ability to keep those guys. So they have an extremely bright future, and I think that projection is fair. Do they have the potential to rival that previous era that you mentioned? Yeah, they have the potential. They got a long way to go, and that is going to be hard. And I think the key is going to be getting to the Super Bowl and winning it, a couple of times. That would really set them apart. But I mean, look, they got to get there once before we have that conversation. But I think they're there. I think they have the ability. That they're in that window now. That window is open, and it's up to them to do it. But the window's open, man, and I don't think it's going to be a short window. They've got a window here that should be open for a little while.
Now, since they're going to match up at some point during camp, I do want to ask you this in Westfield. Do you believe more in the Colts going to an AFC title game or the Browns just getting up off their historical mat and making it to the postseason?
I tell you, man, it just feels like there's sort of a cloud hanging over that organization. Every time we think they're there, they haven't been, right? I mean, look, what was it, 2008? I think they went 10-6, and they still got bumped out of the postseason. I mean, so even when the Browns have gotten it together, it hasn't panned out for them. So, look, I think the Browns are going to be a formidable team, but I think unlike the Colts, look, the Browns won 7-8 games last year. I think the Browns have more to prove than the Colts. They're good. Their roster is legit, but I need to see a little more. Is all I'm saying. The quarterback is astounding. I mean, the kid is legit, and they're going to be a good team. But again, I want to see a little more. I think with the Colts, I think we've seen enough to say, all right, this team is legit and they can contend. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but that's a very legitimate conversation right now. The Browns, we're projecting a little bit more there, I believe.
Yeah, Stephen Holder, the Athletics on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. And speaking of the Browns, I think one of the only reasons why the Colts are ever brought up is because of the Ballard-Dorsey connection of the past. And because certainly you look at the running back position, whether you're talking about, Marlon Mack or Naheem Hines or Jordan Wilkins or Spencer Ware, it seems like that they're covered. Would the Colts have any interest in Duke Johnson? Because I know some people internet-wise are talking that up a little bit.
I think they feel good about their running back situation. They went out and they made one move this offseason. All right, they got Ballard's guy from Kansas City.
Yeah, Spencer Ware, yeah.
Spencer Ware, yeah, thank you. I couldn't remember his name. But anyway, my point is I just don't get the sense that they have any real concerns about that position. I mean, we've talked about this at length, and I certainly have heard a lot of it from the fans. You know who hasn't spent a lot of time talking about running back? The Colts. They just haven't, and I think they feel comfortable about it. I was just looking at something, and do you know that Marlon Mack's 4.7 yards per carry, you know who else had 4.7 yards per carry last year? Ezekiel Elliott. I didn't realize that. Okay, so I'm not saying he's Ezekiel Elliott, but my point is, in terms of production, on an efficiency, in terms of efficiency, I guess they're right there. They're very similar, and so the Colts are just built differently. They're going to throw the ball more just because of who their quarterback is, who their skill positions are, et cetera. But I think they feel pretty good about their running back situation, and I think the diversity they have there is also very good. Naheem Hines is a much different type of running back, right, than Marlon Mack. And I think that number 3 spot now is really competitive between Ware and Jordan Wilkins, who we easily forget about. But Jordan Wilkins was a bright spot at times last year. He's not very consistent, but I think he flashes enough to make you think that, he can be somebody who helps your football team. So I think they have pretty good depth at running back, and I don't see any overwhelming need to go out there and have the Colts address that position. I'm not saying they won't, but I just don't see it as a very high priority.
Yeah, I agree with you too. Hey, one final thing, because I alluded to it a little bit earlier, and because I just kind of wonder. I think it was fair to wonder anyway. But you have Eric Ebron, who had the touchdowns and wants to raise the bar on the touchdowns this year, yet you look at the tight end position, and Doyle is back, and Mo Alley-Cox, I think you would expect to be certainly better and more of a possibility with production coming up this year too. And then you see Eric Ebron upset about his Madden rating, which I think all the way around in the NFL that's ridiculous. But can he be happy on this team if they're successful and his numbers aren't nearly, especially touchdown wise, what they were a year ago?
I think it's to be determined. It's not a huge question for me, but I'm not going to tell you it's not a question, because I mean, last year was a best-case scenario for Eric Ebron, right? He came here. He was beloved. Doyle gets hurt, so he is basically the first option. They don't really have any real red zone go-to guy last year, so it became him. I mean, When they got to the red zone, it was Eric Ebron time. So, I mean, the guy was feasting last year. He's on a team where the quarterback loves tight ends, the coach loves tight ends, and schemes them open all the time as much as he can. So, I mean, it was literally the best case scenario for Eric Ebron. I cannot envision a scenario where Eric Ebron has the same production that he did last year. I just can't. Not if Jack Doyle's healthy, not if Mo Alley Cox is who he is. Hell, for all I know, Ross Travis is a player. I don't know. But my point is, they have a wealth of talent at tight end. And we know Andrew Luck loves him to Jack Doyle. So, I mean, he's going to get the football. So, look, they're different players. I understand that. But at the same time, remember early last season, who was getting the majority of the playing time, even while Ebron was playing well. Jack Doyle was still playing twice as many snaps as Eric Ebron because he's just a better all-around player in terms of the dual-purpose tight end, right? So Ebron will kind of fade back into his previous role potentially, and he's going to have to be very efficient to be able to match that kind of production. But I think he's grown, though. I don't think he's that same immature 23-year-old kid who was pissing people off in Detroit and getting into pissing matches. I don't think he's that same guy. I think he's growing up, and that may be key because he's going to have to probably show some of that maturity this year.
Yeah, I mean, mad about his Madden rating, though. I mean, I know Keenan Allen is, too. I know a lot of these guys are mad, and I'm thinking, good Lord. Why?
I mean, you should never, ever, ever, ever publicly talk about your Madden rating, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree. Doesn't make a lot of sense. All right, what are you writing about before I let you go?
Well, I'm just getting back into it, but I got I'm kind of doing a timer, for the season, kind of taking a look at the roster, the hot spots, the weak spots, the strong spots. But I've got some stuff on tap for training camp that I'm excited about. So some stuff that's been simmering. So yeah, man, just stay tuned, and people will see it soon enough. They get cracking. I guess a week from today we'll be out there, and yeah, I'm excited about it. Some good stuff on the way.
Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for hopping on. We'll talk to you out there, I'm sure, very soon.
Okay, man. Talk to you soon.
Stephen Holder of the Athletics on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I think there are going to be a lot of guys on this team offensively who right now believe that their numbers are going to be up here, but may not go where they believe by virtue of having the weapons offensively that this team has. And it's always kind of interesting to see where the level of disappointment might be. And it kind of sounds like we're picking on Eric Ebron. I'm not picking on Eric Ebron. I'm just kind of curious because, as Stephen, talked about, one of the deepest, if not the deepest position is that of tight end. And what role that could play. I mean, you could have a fantastic offensive season, yet not even sniff, and that's kind of my expectation. The touchdown numbers. I will say this, even if you don't sniff those touchdown numbers, if you're Eric Ebron from a year ago, if you are more consistent all the way around, which clearly he needs to be, and I mean, you don't have to be Vince Lombardi to see that. If he is more consistent all the way around, without the drops, I think everybody around here will be firmly satisfied because he does remain, at least as of going into the season, one of the larger weapons in the Luck arsenal offensively. But maybe not so much improving on, those great numbers of last year in touchdowns, but, maybe ultimately doing that as far as just being an all-around better pass catcher for Eric Ebron. And as Stephen Holder mentioned, next week is going to be the day. And then here we go. I also mentioned this a little bit earlier. So we have a new wrinkle, or at least I have put a new wrinkle in, and I got to get with DJ Skids about it. But for our next Backyard Bourbon broadcast, I am going to bring a DJ. And DJ Skids, Chris Skidmore, is going to be the guy. So we're going to pick, I think, either later on this week or maybe early next week, our next Backyard Bourbon broadcast brought to you by Evan Williams, Larceny, food presented by Wings, etc., and hydration from Connecticut. We're going to pick our next Backyard Bourbon broadcast location, and we're going to bring a DJ to this. And you're going to say, well, wait a minute, you do a talk show, how are you going to have a DJ? Well, I take a break, and the DJ is going to play. I take a break, the DJ is going to play, and then the DJ will play a little bit afterwards. I just kind of wanted to add this music wrinkle to the fun we're having on site, and that's how we're going to do it. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? 1070thefan.com. It is the best party that you're going to be a part of this year. It'll be the best party you have had at your house. Matt Parks, we did it back in June up in Noblesville, and it was fantastic. And we will draw a winner either later on this week or early next week about where we're going to go in the month of July. Brought to you by Evan Williams, Connecticut Water, and Wings, etc. And my man DJ Skid's a part of it as well. It is the Backyard Bourbon broadcast. Quick break. We'll come back. Some of your thoughts on the Colts. We'll get back to Tobias Harris. Some of you believe Tobias Harris, with already a strong supporting cast, would be good as a max type of player. I still don't buy it. I'm telling you what, the Reds just knucklehead all the time, don't they? I mean, just knucklehead all the time. What are you doing? How do you get picked off of first base there? How do you get picked off of first base? Well, I mean, where are you going? You kind of looked like you got back there, didn't it? Where are you going? I can't tell from that angle. Like anything else, they'll probably review it. But I mean, where are you going? Was that Iglesias? Where the hell is he going? They're hanging out there. They're going to review it. Quick break. We'll come back. Amp Harris, bottom of the hour. He's got a big game. He's done this for a long time as a part of Indiana Black Expo. We'll talk to Amp Kevin Bowen in the 5 o'clock hour. I've got tickets. I'll tell you to what show and more coming up. Other side next.
Mortgage interest rates continue to drop, and we are back to those historic low levels. You have a lot more buying power. Let's get you pre-approved now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122, or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
Hey, it's John here for 1 hour heating and air conditioning. That's 844-1-HOUR. 844-1-HOUR. This weekend is going to be incredibly warm. What do? Well, you got to make sure that your cooling unit is running the way that it should, and that's where 1 hour heating and air conditioning comes in, making sure that your stuff is running like it should. Now, listen, you got to make sure that what you got right now is working, and you're really going to tell if it's not, because we're going to hit temperatures around 98 to 100 coming up this weekend. And you got a great time to do it, because right now, 1 hour heating and air conditioning, they have this for you. For any repair job, they'll give you a free service call. That's 844-1-HOUR, making sure your cooling unit's doing what it should, because here it comes in a big wave for the next 4 or 5 days. Make sure you're cool and comfortable on the inside with 1 hour heating and air conditioning. That's 844-1-HOUR today.
Hey, it's Tony Kanan. I'm here with Chuck Jones from BUSS Chevrolet. Chuck, summer is here, and you got some hot deals.
Yes, TK. July kicks off the Bill Esther Chevrolet Takeover Sale.
The Takeover Sale is in full swing. Boom!
Boom is right. During July, you can take over the low payments on any vehicle with down payments cheaper than a tank of gas. Or, we've got 0% financing on all new Chevys for up to 84 months.
Chuck, now's the time to find new roads to BUSS Chevy at 465 in Michigan Road or online at BUSSChevy.com.
For the moments in life worth celebrating, there's nothing like a gift of Shane Company jewelry. I'm Tom Shane.
And I'm Alicia, our lead designer.
All year long, Alicia and her team personally design gifts for those special moments, like an anniversary, a birthday, a graduation, or just because.
We've created exclusive gifts in every price range. Unlike other jewelers who sell the same mass-produced jewelry over and over, we're constantly designing new styles. Whatever the occasion, her gift will be unique.
We have anniversary bands with diamonds, rubies, or sapphires hand-selected at the source. We also have diamond necklaces, tennis bracelets, and diamond stud earrings, classic, timeless gifts.
My team has redesigned all the basics to be anything but basic. Our attention to detail and unique designs make these pieces extraordinary. They're made to last and to be loved for a lifetime.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
We're all trying to get in a little bit better shape these days. Some of us use the weight room, some like to run and hike, while others play the sports we love. But unfortunately, almost all of us will end up with some kind of ailment from trying to stay fit, and that's where Franciscan Health Orthopedics comes in. They'll fix what ails you so you can stay active. Again, it's okay to push yourself, but sometimes we go too far. And when that happens, the orthopedic experts at Franciscan Health are there for you. From sprains and tears to fractures and dislocations, they'll get you back in the game. Franciscan Health Orthopedics, inspiring health.
Breaking Benjamin, live in concert, July 23rd, part of the Coors Light concert series at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center, with special guests, Chevelle, 3 Days Grace, Dorothy, and Diamante. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Breaking Benjamin, new album, Ember, out now.
The Ride with JMV.
Well, we've got an especially dirty hippie here down on the court trying to sink an impossible shot.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Kevin Bowen, top of the hour. Jay Cantrell of Alice in Chains coming up tomorrow. And Ted Bishop on here to talk about the Open tomorrow, too. Yeah, I mentioned hot and humid this weekend near triple digits. Indiana Black Expo going on downtown, and always the heartbeat of that, and the Amp Harris and Reggie Wayne game is going to be a part of that, coming up at 6 o'clock at the Convention Center on Saturday evening. And joining us to talk about that, he is a dear friend of mine. He is a mover and a shaker. I think what do you say, another power move? With my man Amp Harris joining us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. How you doing, my friend?
Man, life is beautiful. Jay, how are you?
Great. I love this time of year. And I follow you on Twitter, so I get to see all that you're involved with and how special it is to you. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, it's all about giving back to the kids, man, and that's the purpose of the Amp Harris and Reggie Wayne Saving Our Youth Celebrity Basketball game. As a matter of fact, I just left the Willow Boys Club on 30th and Keystone talking to kids about the game, the importance of being able to give back and where you come from don't determine where you're going. So it really matters to me. And like I always tell people, the basketball game, Jay, is what I call a magnet to get people's attention. But it's the things that we do before the basketball game, like going to Willis Boys Club and talking to the kids and giving them images of hope. And that's what the game is.
Yeah, you do such a great job in your mentorship of the youth here in Indianapolis. Is that something that you leaned on growing up as well? Because we've had stories before, like Mike Epps, who is incredibly hilarious, actor, comedian, globally synonymous with just being a funny dude, always would mention on this show, too, that he needed folks like that in this area growing up.
Yeah, you got to have it, man. I mean, even Mike, we travel around the country on his national tour 6 months out of the year, and we try our best to, no matter what city we're in, to go back and give back to kids, especially kids that come from low-income families, or you're coming from a single-parent home, which he and I both came from. So, being a young guy growing up in the city and dealing with those kind of pitfalls and having to not knowing if the next meal is going to be from Monday to Tuesday, we all have an obligation. And I grew up with a mother who prayed a lot over me, but she always talked to me about sacrifice and service and being humble. And I'm blessed to be in the position where I'm at now, where I can give back to the community. And so more importantly to me is being able to take my relationships with people like yourself who donate your time to come and participate in the game, allow me to come on the radio station to talk about the importance of giving back. And so I think, the T.Y. Hiltons of the world, the Reggie Waynes, the Edgerrin James, the Jacoby Brissetts, and the list just goes on and on. These people are guys that come from that same environment, but they have not forgotten that. And so, when you take a polished professional like Reggie Wayne, who no longer lives in Indianapolis but flies back to Indianapolis to participate, it does something for the younger kids that are coming up in the coach organization or in the Pacer organization. So images are really important, and I think the more positive images that our kids are exposed to today, the better chance it gives them to say, if this guy did it and I know where he or she came from, I can do it.
Amp Harris joins us. The Amp Harris Reggie Wayne game is coming up at 6 on Saturday. We'll talk about that in a second, but I think it's truly special because you mentioned Reggie and how he continues to be a leader even though he is retired from football and, as you mentioned, no longer lives around here. But you because of what you accomplished here, continue to be a centralized leader to the youth. It makes everything pretty special.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are special. I mean, it says a lot, man, when people look beyond themselves. And rather if it's in sports, entertainment, politics, it doesn't matter. Some people are born with a service mentality, and some people are born with a mentality where they only look at life based on what's in front of them and what's happening in their household, and they feel that I've succeeded. And I deal with it on a day-to-day basis by dealing with these entertainers and actors and celebrity sports figures, politicians, ministers. It doesn't matter. I mean, I think that when you take a Reggie Wayne, and especially with me, with my relationship with the athletes, from George Hill in Indianapolis, Paul George when he was here, Miles Turner's doing a wonderful job with the Pacers, the coach organization, the Pacer organization as a whole, it really lights a fire under kids that look up to these guys and girls. And again, my biggest thing, Jay, is images. And not just what you see, it's also what you hear. People don't see me and you talking now, but they can hear us over the radio. And the beauty of it is we're talking about helping someone else, people that we don't even know. And when you have that kind of heart, it means a lot about the person. So Reggie is a prime example of sacrifice.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's Amp Harris with us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Game set for 6 o'clock coming up on Saturday at the Convention Center. Is my man B. Swift going to be a part of that too?
Yeah, man, B. Swift it's a lot. B. Swift, it's like a lot of the local cats is going to be there, man. I always do the game. I just picked a kid from the boys club, JMV, that was the counselor said he was a standout kid, and I pulled that kid out of the audience, and he's going to be an honorary coach at the game Saturday. So I'm real big on using local people to show more than I am even the national people that come and play, because the locals, that's what our local kids see every day. So you got B. Swift is going to be there. You got Chris Hayden is going to be there. You got Ashley Brown. And I try to cover the whole gamut of sports media people. Drew Powell, actor, he's going to be there. So anybody that's somebody that's from Indianapolis, that I have their phone number. I don't have a lot of people's phone number. I'm trying to get Pat McAfee to come out of retirement, Jay. So if you can get this, anybody that can go on Instagram.
We can text him. We can text him.
Pat McAfee a message and tell him Amp Harris said that he sent him a DM and he texted me. And I need Pat McAfee to come out of retirement, Jay.
All right. I'll send him a text here a little bit later on. And
he's gonna be so mad at me that I'm calling him out
he'll be okay with it too. I've actually played hoop with him before. He can play. I mean, the dude's just an athlete. He's a straight athlete.
Pat is a real athlete. He's goofy as all out get out, but he is a super athlete. I mean, and he's really competitive. So Pat get out there and he don't know how to just have fun with it. He wants to really compete. He thinks he's like a baby Charles Barkley now, because he engaged the weight. He's the new Zion Williams that can't jump.
Yeah, that's it. I was thinking about, because I know Brissett's going to be out there coming up on Saturday too.
He just talks more garbage about how great he is on the basketball court.
He's pretty good though. He's a pretty good player.
I know he is.
Yeah. What is he on Twitter? He's doing some stuff on Twitter. He's getting lively in social media. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, when I talked to Jay, and I'm like, listen, nephew, because I call him nephew. I said, man, what are you like? What are you turning into? Are you a philosopher now? Like, I don't quite understand that you're trying to be a comedian, Mike Epps / Jacoby, but this is your new gig. Like, he's like, well, does water really have a taste? I'm like, what kind of question is that? So I don't know where Jacoby's going with it, man. I'm just as intrigued. I can't wait to sit down. I'm gonna interview him on Saturday to kind of get a gist of where he's going with this. I'm like, you need to start your own blog session during training camp.
Yeah.
Don't talk about football. Just talk about these crazy questions that you won't ask people.
Well, I mean, he's set himself up for this because people are going to get bored with the normal football questions. You know, folks are going to go at that. I think as far as Jacoby's concerned.
I love it, Jay. I mean, because it's a different side of Jacoby. He's really like people that don't really. Jacoby's a really playful guy. He's a real jokester. But to put it out there like this and the attention that he's getting, because it's like the coach organization, they love it. So I'm like, I can't wait to see what training camp is going to be like Jacoby's Corner or something. You need to give him a name, man.
Yes.
When he does his interviews.
Yes, it's in Paris with us. All right, so the game's at 6 o'clock. How can people get in there on Saturday?
It's absolutely. I mean, the game is at 6 o'clock at the Indiana Convention Center, and it's absolutely free. It's a great time. It's a family affair. We do a lot of giveaways. We give away tickets to the Colts game, the Pacer game, a lot of T-shirts, and the players and the celebrities come out. And you're there, so you know what it's like. So we want everybody to come, man. It's literally about unity, spreading love, and that's what the game is about. So 6 o'clock, Indiana Convention Center, Hall F. Just come to the convention center. Just walk straight through the door. Get you a seat, and we got a halftime performance, all kind of stuff. We got the trampoline guys that jumping in the air, turning flips. It's going to be amazing.
That's going to be a great time. It has been a great time in the past, and it'll be another fantastic time on Saturday. Again, 6 o'clock at the Convention Center. And are you going to get Teddy Riley on this show tomorrow for me?
Yeah, man, I reached out to Ted. We're going to make that happen. He gets in town in the morning. So you should be getting a call from me tomorrow morning. We're going to bring Teddy over there and, let Teddy talk it up and let you. I tell people, I always tell these guys, like, my white friends are more hip-hop historians and R&B historians than a lot of you guys that's in the business. And I'm like, these dudes, they talk. So when I talk about you, JMV, I always tell people he talks sports, but he's really, really a music head.
Oh, man. So, well, I mean, with him, he's a legend. Teddy Riley's a legend.
Yeah, man, and he's getting a Living Legend Award Friday at the IBE Corporate Luncheon, Friday morning. Ironically enough, you say that.
He's New Jack Swing. That's New Jack Swing.
He's created a whole era of music, and he's now really getting his just due. He's getting his name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in August. So I'm really proud of Teddy, man. So he's definitely coming in. He's going to be speaking to some kids tomorrow night. He's doing a master class for some inner city kids. It's going to be really amazing. So it's going to be fun, but I'm going to definitely get him up there to you.
I appreciate that, too. When's the Guy concert? When's that happen?
Guy, they actually perform Friday night downtown at the American Legion Mall at 6 o'clock. And it's free to get to. So y'all make sure y'all come and check that out.
I'm going to that. I want to get with you. That's me right there.
Okay, well, you can come on stage with me and introduce him.
Oh, hey. Don't tease me. Don't tease me.
Hey, bro, if I got it, you got it, JMV. So if you just text me and say, "F, are you serious?" I'll come over there and I'll have you come out on stage with me and we'll introduce Guy together.
I am texting you. I definitely want to go to that.
Make it happen.
I definitely want to go to that. You let me know about tomorrow, too, with Teddy, and I'll continue to remind people about Saturday because it's going to be fantastic.
87 is going to call in, too, tomorrow or Friday for sure.
Oh, 87's calling. I need 87 to call in here, too. That's awesome.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Hey, tip of the cap for all you do around here, man. I mean, I don't know if people realize it, and if they don't, they should. And I know you're not looking for the recognition, but you deserve it for what you do to folks around here. And job well done, man. Really, I'm proud to call you friend. I really am.
Likewise, my man. I appreciate you getting me on, man. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. 2 Saturdays, 6 o'clock, Indiana Convention Center and Paris Reggie Wayne, Saving Our Youth Celebrity Basketball Game. No excuses because it's free to get in.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate
it. Ann Paris on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I want to get with you. Oh. I got Guy, Rex in Effect, and Blackstreet. Oh, whew. That's awesome. Reggie Wayne's coming on later on this week, too, which is good. Write that one down as well. It'll be good. Quick break. We'll come back. Kevin Bowen, top of the hour. We got tickets to give away and a lot more for you on a Wednesday. Back with you next.
Register to win the Evan Williams Bourbon and Connecticut Water Backyard Broadcast Party with JMV by heading to our contest page today at 1070thefan.com.
You forget something?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to be able to pick up Braden tonight after practice.
Oh, did something come up at work?
Nah, not even going to make it in today.
Why? What's going on?
Well, I'm coming up on some construction in about a quarter mile. I've already started ignoring the signs. In a minute, I'll force my way through traffic while texting. I'll pull the wheel a little too far and drive right through the barrels where I'm going to hit a few workers. One of them is going to get killed, so then I'm going to be arrested and charged with vehicular manslaughter.
No one plans on having an accident, but you can plan to avoid one. Read the signs. Slow down. Stay alert.
This is Ward Daniels, business manager of Labor's Local 120. Every year, not only do accidents in the construction zone kill and injure workers, they can also cost you, the driver, thousands of dollars and time in jail.
A message from Indiana Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Hey, I'm always trying to help you. JMV here with the best. It's Connecticut Water. Whenever you say, hey, JMV, my water is kind of tough to deal with. It's hard and tastes great, too. Makes the ice cubes kind of smell. It's just tough on the laundry. What do I say? I say, you don't have the best water. Get the best water. That's Connecticut Water, and now's the great time to do it because Joe, John, and Dennis, they gave you this great deal. It's a trio with a great deal. The Premier Series water softener, the K5 drinking water station, and the state-of-the-art leak detection system. All three. And you get $1,500 off the price tag. Right now is the best time to get the best water with Connecticut. Premier Series water softener, K5 drinking water station, leak detection system. All three. And $1,500 off. Tell them I sent you. 2 locations, northeast side, Castleton, US 31 Southport Road on the south side, and online. That's ConnecticutIndy.com today.
Hubler has it. Savings. Hubler has it. Choices. Hubler has it. Hubler has it all.
Indiana's Auto Giant is changing car buying forever. Introducing a warranty so huge, you can drive around the world 8 times and still be covered. It's Hubler Auto Group's massive 10-year, 200,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Shop any new vehicle at all Hubler locations with the warranty included. Chevys, Buicks, GMCs, and Fords. The warranty's included. Acuras, Hondas, Nissans, and Mazdas. The warranty's included. The Hubler family has helped Hoosiers for 60 years, and we're not stopping now. Visit drivehubler.com for the perfect car and our 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. As Indiana's Auto Giant, Hubler has it all. Why buy anywhere else? You're invited to Hubler. Click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it. Hubler has it all.
Warranty available on new vehicles, except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. A copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Located out in Danville and serving Hendricks and surrounding counties, owner Danny Reinhardt says this truly is a family business.
My 3 children, Kevin, Corey, and Kim, they all work for me. I have another gentleman that's been with me since I started, Stumpy, and he still works for me. And then Brian come to work for us in 2006, and so we really, truly are a family business.
Give Reinhardt a call at 745-4526. Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
Oh, got a great idea for you. How about this weekend? It's the brand new Helium Comedy Club, and former UFC star turned comedian. You guys know him, right? Brendan Shaw. He takes the stage for 5 huge shows Thursday through Saturday. You know Brendan from his appearances on the Joe Rogan Experience. It's one of the best, if not the most popular podcast out there. And as the co-host of the Fighter and the Kid podcast. Helium Comedy Club is located downtown at the corner of Georgia and Meridian next to Burger Study in the Circle Center Mall. By the way, Brendan, I think, is either going to be in studio or join us coming up on Friday, so that should be fun. If you need information on how you can check this out, you should, or for upcoming shows, which also, I should point out, Donnie Baker's coming to town in the not-so-distant future, online, heliumcomedy.com. That's heliumcomedy.com, Helium Comedy Club. Eat, drink, and be entertained.
As a small business owner, when was the last time you considered switching internet providers?
I don't even remember. Running a business keeps me pretty busy.
Let's compare compare your current provider to Comcast Business. Are you getting fast, reliable internet?
Sometimes.
How about a full suite of innovative services like separate Wi-Fi networks, 4G wireless backup, and advanced voice solutions?
I highly doubt it.
Sounds like Comcast Business could give you more. Make the switch to the nation's largest gig speed network now and get an amazing deal. Right now, get fast 75 megabit internet for $49.95 per month for 2 years when you add 2 voice mobility lines and sign up for paperless billing and autopay. Call 1-800-501-6000 today. Comcast Business. Beyond fast.
Monthly service charge increases by $10 without paperless billing and autopay. Offer ends 8/21/19. Restrictions apply. New business customers only. 2-year agreement required. Early termination fee applies. Equipment taxes and fees extra subject to change. Backup limited to up to 8 hours.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. We're almost halfway through summer, and if you haven't found the home of your dreams, I have some great news for you. Mortgage interest rates continue to drop, and we are back to those historic low levels. What does that mean for you? You have a lot more buying power. You can now expand your search to a higher price point and still have the same payment. The 5-minute loan approval only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
All right, Dan Docketshire, the Open Championship is this week. We're going to have Ryan Burr to talk about it. You all love Ryan because he gives opinions. And Mike Wells. I love Wellsy. We're going to talk some Colts in the Open Championship.
The Ride with JMV.
Collect them, trade them, or just enjoy them.
FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Hey, by the way, I found more tapes. I forgot to bring them today, though. I have found more tapes. Sure, I want to go up on stage and bring onto stage Guy coming up on Friday. Guy, Rex and Effect, Blackstreet. I tell you, Kyle, you need to go on Friday so we can introduce you to this stuff, too, since you don't know. You don't know Dog Me Out? Oh, man, how do you not know Dog Me Out? Anybody out there listening? You guys all know Dog Me Out. You guys know one of the best albums of our era being The Future by Guy. I'm not like speaking to one or two people out there, am I? Come on. Hey, JMV, props to the Amp Harris interview. Amp with a huge heart shines through. You give back to the community Saturday at 6 at the Convention Center. Be there. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to hoop a little bit. I'll take a bunch of drugs, not those kind of drugs. Rub a bunch of balm on. Put a couple sleeves on. Go out there and go. But no, seriously, it is a really good time. Saturday at 6, free to you. Eric Nolan sends me this. Hey, JMV, we're taking teams for 2019. Let me know if you're interested. Money to the champs. This is Indiana State 3-on-3 Wiffle Ball Championships at the Ursay Family YMCA at Cityway. Youth and adult division, Saturday, August the 3rd. I'm going to retweet that because if there is something that everybody, and I mean universally, loves this time of year, it is wiffle ball. 3-on-3 wiffle ball. I think that sounds better than Gus Macker. Wouldn't you rather play 3-on-3 wiffle ball than Gus Macker? I saw where Gus Macker's back here at some point, too. Some of my best and worst experiences have been involved in Gus Macker. I think everybody has that. The worst experiences would be the ones in Bloomington where they had him in April. They always had him at that, I think it was the week prior to Little Five. And it's always hit or miss. I mean, either that week it's 45 degrees and raining, or during Little Five it's 45 degrees and raining. Just always a crapshoot. And it's brutal. And they had it in the parking lot between Memorial Stadium and Assembly Hall. And more times than not, it was an incredible clown fest. And I guess I'm one of the clowns. Indiana State 3-on-3 Wiffle Ball Championships. I just retweeted that if anybody wants to play. God, I love wiffle ball. It's from Jeff Hansen, JMV. All this confidence and high expectations from everyone regarding the Colts. What if the team starts 1-4 or 2-3? What's the rhetoric then? What do you think is going to be, Jeff? I mean, it's going to be disaster, foobar. I will say this. You'll get that after week 1 if they don't play well or they lose to the Chargers in L.A. It'll be week 1. I mean, it's quarter by quarter. It's the NFL. That's just kind of how it goes. But that's what's going to happen. JMV, every time I hear Gus Macker, it makes me think people are saying gut smacker. Gus Macker. Truly a fun experience sometime, but normally awful. Is that fair to say? Anybody that's ever participated? I gotta agree. Jeremiah writes this. Did you just say take some drugs and rub your balls? No, I said take some drugs and rub on some balm. BALM, not rub my balls. But I might do that too. Matter of fact, I probably will. I guess. I mean, what the hell? It's going to be Saturday night, right, Jeremiah? Bowen in studio, top of the hour. Stuff to win, top of the hour. Me, you next.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys. A partner men can count on. 317-322-0122. Or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
Indy 11's home unbeaten streak is now 1 year in the making, and you can watch the boys in blue extend the run this Saturday night. Save your seats now at Indy11.com for Saturday's 7 p.m. kickoff against Loudoun United FC. Tailgate lots open at 4, and the official 11 tailgate at Job Size Supply starts at 5. Don't miss the only chance to catch Indy 11 at home in July. Save your seats for as little as $11 at 317-685-1100 or Indy11.com. Indy 11, the world's game, Indiana's team.
Let us get you in a new ride. Hey, it's JMV. How about a hassle-free new ride where the customer service is absolutely unmatched? That type of new ride at Indiana's best. Andy Moore Toyota in Avon. Check out what they have to offer online at andymoretoyota.com. And then talk to my guy, Ben Mendoza. Ben Mendoza runs things over there, and let him, as he does for everybody, get you into the ride of your choice. Seriously, whatever you're looking at. I said this today. Andy Moore Toyota send out a tweet about your favorite Toyota. I have a Toyota Tundra 2010 with 230,000 miles on it. It is the best truck in the history of motorized vehicles. And I love it more today, 9 years plus later, than I did back then. It is awesome. So the Tundra, check that out. SUVs, the RAV4, the Highlander, the 4Runner, all at Indiana's best. Again, tell Ben Mendoza that I sent you to Andy Moore Toyota in Avon, and check out their selection of the best, the trucks, the Tundras. 5 miles west of 465 on US 36.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Mortgage interest rates continue to drop week after week. I just quoted a 30-year fix at 3.25 without any points or out-of-pocket cost. We can drop your interest rate, lower your monthly payment, and get you the cash you need. Don't miss your chance to lock in to one of these historically low interest rates. It only takes 5 minutes to get approved at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Lights, camera, gotcha. Plumbing problems can't hide from us.
Got a leak, don't freak, call Ben. Got a mess, don't stress, call Ben.
Corey Kreitzberger here from Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. Cracked pipes and hard-to-trace leaks can hide behind walls and underground. We use specialized cameras to look deep into your plumbing and solve problems fast. Right now, get a $99 drain cleaning with a free camera inspection.
Call Benjamin Franklin Plumbing.
Terms and conditions apply. License number CP101-00018.
chronic headaches, constant sinus infections, pain and pressure. The fatigue was overwhelming.
That's Karen. She suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She'd go to urgent care, see her doctor.
And we would do the same thing, steroids, antibiotics, nasal sprays.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty.
Now my sinus cavities are open. You can breathe on a constant basis and not get sinus infections. I don't get headaches anymore. I don't take naps anymore. I'm like, oh, this is miraculous.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure? Is it difficult to breathe through your nose? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with the Indianapolis Sinus Center. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
Quit eating your burgers on the coffee table. If you want to eat a burger, put it on a bar. Follow your instincts to B-dubs for the new All-American Cheeseburger. Fresh, juicy beef smashed till it's crispy around the edges, covered in gooey cheese, and stacked to the ceiling with deliciousness. And knock that baby down with a frosted beer at the bar. Just like the sports gods intended. The new All-American Cheeseburger at Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar! Please drink responsibly.
Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Live. An unforgettable evening of Led Zeppelin's greatest hits and deepest cuts. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. This Saturday night, 8 p.m. Hurrah Theater at Old National Center. Reserve seats on sale now at the Old National Center box office or online at Ticketmaster.com. Part of the Cricket Concert Series.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Save up to $120 with the purchase of select tires using your Big O credit card. See store for details. Now open in Whitestown.
Having ED issues? Locally owned Men's Health Solutions has a $75 initial appointment fee that includes a test dose of medication and sample meds. Men'sHealthSolutions.us.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BE, W228CX, Indianapolis. Nationals, Braves, Sunday Night Baseball. The coverage begins at 6 on FM 107.5, The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Hey, you gonna stare all day or you gonna buy something? I'm gonna stare all day.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Bowen's in studio. Hey, the Cubs have 4 runs on 3 hits. That sucks. Hey, quick shout. Midwest Center for Joint Replacement. My man Wesley Lackey and Greg over there. Good meeting you guys today. Yeah, not that kind of joint either. Come on. I'm talking about knee, joint pain kind of thing. Yeah, not that one. That was great over there. That was over there on the southwest side off of State Road 67. And Paris a little bit earlier. Reggie Wayne before the end of the week, I think, is going to join us. Teddy Riley. You just heard Blackstreet as the re-entry. That Teddy Riley, Blackstreet. Rex and Effects. That's Rump Shaker. See, I got 2 young dudes in here. They have no idea what I'm talking about. All I want to do is zoom, 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 and the boo. You have no idea?
I got nothing.
Good Lord. Are you kidding me? You guys, all right. This Kevin Bowen's in studio here, and Kyle's always in studio here. You guys have no idea what. Hold on a second here. You guys have no idea what this song is playing. Turn me up a little. You've never heard this song before?
Yeah. I've heard this song. Yeah.
Maybe 1, 2, 3, check, maybe check.
So you have one of these guys on?
Teddy Riley.
Yeah. Is he going to be here Saturday?
He basically invented a genre of music called New Jack Swing. It was kind of hip hop version New Jack Swing. He was with a band called Guy, and then Rex and Effect, and then I can't remember if he's directly involved in Rex and Effect, produced it anyway, and then Blackstreet with No Diggity. Remember the song No Diggity? Yeah, he did that too. And he's in town for Indiana Black Expo. Going to come on here. He's a Hall of Fame musical icon, at least for me, which I think is awesome.
So your jump shot going to be on full display Saturday?
hope I feel good. I don't know. I feel
How you
like
feeling?
a big
Is that what the joint?
bucket of crap right here.
Was that some of the joint issues that you were taking care of earlier
I just
today?
went in there. I said, "Can you guys just cut this son of a gun off? Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of them both too. Now my right one's hurting, my elbow's hurting. I'm going to be like RoboCop one of these days, just the $6 million man, and I'm just going to have new parts. I think by the time I'm 60, I'm just going to have all new parts. By that time, I think we'll be able to have all new parts for everything, and I'm just going to have all new parts. But no, that'll be fun. 6 o'clock coming up on Saturday, the Amp Harris Reggie Wayne game to benefit the youth. It is absolutely free. You guys show up. It'll be a blast. Reggie's going to join us later on in the week. And Jay Cantrell of Alice in Chains on this show tomorrow. Jay Cantrell's been on before. But he is a huge, and I mean a huge NFL fan, as big into fantasy football, and obviously being that home base for such a long time is from Seattle. He is a big Seahawks fan. And Jay Cantrell of Alice in Chains joins us coming up on tomorrow's show. Kevin Bowen is in studio with us right now. What's happening? Nothing good?
What's up? Yeah.
About a week away.
I know, it is crazy. And I'm not happy, as you alluded to earlier, that the Cubs are looking like they're finally going to get their first series win over our Redlegs this year. Did we get two back? Is it 4-2 now?
Yeah, the Reds have blown it, though, a couple of times.
Last night had some chances.
Iglesias got picked off. I mean, last night he scored 3 runs off of this, Little League pitcher that the Cubs rolled out there, and then you don't score on him the rest of the way. That was terrible. And then today, too. I mean, they've had all these different opportunities and just not been able to
Darvish turning back the clock a bit.
Yeah, he did. I mean, and listen, if you got somebody that's got decent stuff on a day, the Reds struggle. The Reds struggle against decent stuff. It doesn't have to be great stuff. Just
That's
decent.
not good.
It's like decent, and offensively, they struggle against it. So I was talking to Stephen Holder a little bit earlier. We all knew what the big story was going to be going into day number 1 of the first practice out there. And then we were all out there, and Luck came out, and everybody was cheering, and he finally threw a football, and everybody was gasping and cheering. What's going to be that for you going out there this year?
It's a good question. There certainly is nothing as obvious as what you had last year, the first day at Grand Park. There are subtle storylines that I think some people would consider really big, and some might not consider big at all, whether that's where's Deion Kane at, Anthony Walker versus Bobby Okereke for maybe the starting job at Mike linebacker. How does Devin Funchess look with Andrew Luck? I think that's a very real storyline as he tries to build a rapport and, in a way, I think try to get his NFL career back on the right path as he is in a contract year. The health of Clayton Geathers, such a big year for him. So, again, nothing like your franchise quarterback having arguably his most important body part injured. But there are other storylines and other factors that I think will play out over the next month and a half at Grand Park.
We came to the conclusion that there's nothing really on the radar, which is always good. But what can turn out to be a little overwhelming would be the level of expectations from one year to the next that this team, again, I know that they always say they keep everything compartmentalized, they don't pay attention, but baloney. They all pay attention. Everybody pays attention, and those level of expectations are just stratospherically higher than they were this time last year.
You know what, John? I think Frank Reich and his team have to embrace those expectations.
I agree.
Because they aren't changing if you're able to prove yourself this season. And obviously, New England has done it better than anyone else over the past 15 years or so in maintaining those expectations, exceeding the annual expectations. The Peyton-led Colts in the 2000s, from a regular season standpoint, they were able to maintain that level of excellence. Now, from a postseason level, they weren't, but when Chris Ballard and Jim Irsay and they talk about sustained success and all of that, these expectations of ESPN ranking you number 1 for the future NFL teams, I mean, you need to embrace that because that is going to become the norm for this team. Outside expectations are going to be through the roof. And so, yes, internally, you can keep the 1% better and every cliche that you want to throw out there, but you better get used to playing in prime time and having people show up to your training camp and start to be the team that I think you thought you were going to be a little bit earlier and more consistently in the Andrew Luck tenure.
So when they go 0-1, everybody's going to lose their mind around here.
Are you calling it a must-win again this year?
Oh, man. I'm Mr. Must-Win. I'm not going to say must-win.
I think it's a big game, though.
Yeah. I was trying to think. Let's look back a year ago. How must-win was that Bengals game last year? I mean, when you look at it, grand scheme of things. You could end up winning 11 had you won that game.
What it did was it put a whole lot of pressure on the back half of the schedule. Yeah. I mean, if you would have slipped up one time in winning 9 out of 10 games, you would have missed the playoffs.
You had to take advantage of the back half of the schedule for a different reason.
Yes.
Because it was a need.
Whereas this year, you don't look at the Chargers as probably one of your 3 toughest games you'll play all year.
Yeah.
But where it becomes into a big game, it's the fact that if you want to start thinking about potential tiebreakers, getting the bye, which is Jim Irsay's clear goal for this team here in 2019, those things factor in. And if you do get behind the 8 ball, because I do think this schedule where it is its toughest, it's early in the year. I mean, you do go at the Chargers, at the Titans, at the Chiefs. 3 teams that I think are very capable of making the playoffs in the first 5 weeks of the season. And your 2 home games are against the Falcons and Raiders with, 2 pretty decent quarterbacks. So I don't think it's, a must win by any means, but I do think it's a game you might look back on in late December and think, man, if you could have got that one, maybe you are in better position to have home field in the playoffs, and vice versa. Maybe if you do get that one, then you're in position to get one of the top seeds in the AFC.
So Kevin Bowen of 1070thefan.com, he's in studio with us. Colts camp is underway this time next week, and we're talking about that right now. We haven't brought up, and I brought up, who's going to be a surprise production-wise name this year with you last week. I think we should bring up Mo Alley Cox more. Is that because we saw more than a glimpse a year ago, or is that because there is such a level of depth at that position that maybe we don't look at that as much as we do other positions on that team? Is that fair to say? Because Mo Alley Cox, I think, is a guy that certainly bears watching production-wise from one year to the other for the Colts.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say. And also, I mean, even when you had Jack Doyle, Eric Ebron, and Mo Alley Cox healthy, it wasn't very often last year. It was only a couple games. Mo Alley Cox is playing more than Eric Ebron. And Frank Reich is so obsessed with the tight end position, and he's obsessed with what Mo Alley Cox brings from a skill set standpoint. And what he brings is a lot closer to Jack Doyle than Eric Ebron. Eric Ebron is a one-trick pony. It's a great trick. He led the NFL in tight ends and touchdown receptions last year and was such a vital threat to your red zone success. But he's not an inline blocker, and he's not the most consistent pass catcher throughout the course of the entire field. Whereas Jack Doyle is your inline blocker. He is much more of a consistent pass-catching target guy. And that's what I think they believe the ceiling is from Mo Alley Cox, of being the Jack Doyle consistency as a blocker, as an underneath target guy, but then also having some of the Eric Ebron, where there is this down-the-field element to his game. And I think Frank Reich will be really open to throwing some 2 and 3 tight end sets out there where Mo Alley Cox is one of those tight ends. And then the elephant in the room for Jack Doyle and Eric Ebron this season is both those guys are in contract years. And I think I would not be surprised at all if come, February and March, it's all right, maybe Jack Doyle and Eric Ebron are a little bit more expendable because you feel good about Mo Alley Cox growing into being more of a prominent tight end for you.
It's Kevin Bowen in studio. I can't disagree with you on that. Paris Campbell is going to be like what current NFL player? You made any comparisons?
That's a good one.
To the rookie yet?
I know he's not in the league anymore, but what you hear frequently associated with him, and this is the Urban Meyer background, is the Percy Harvin sort of comparison. I think Frank Reich is going to use him all over the offense, underneath routes, crossing routes, high percentage throws from Andrew Luck to get him the ball and let him kind of do his thing post-catch. So I think that it's just a lot of, I don't know if it's like Tyreek Hill. I'm trying to think of guys in the NFC that would have a similar skill set to what Campbell would bring. Basically, I look at it as you have a guy with a heavy running back background in high school, so he's great with the ball in his hands, and Ohio State used him really in that Percy Harvin role as, again, underneath stuff to where you are not risking Andrew Luck taking 5 and 7 step drops but yet you feel like there's a chance to hit on the chunk play because Paris Campbell can do all that work after the catch, which was such an issue for this team last season. Yards after catch was a big problem for the Colts, and Paris Campbell will go a long way in trying to cure some of that. So I could see him lining up in the backfield some plays where you throw him a little screen or a little dump pass and he does some stuff. Slot-wise, I think him and Chester Rogers are your slot wideouts as well. But I don't know. It's tough for me to come up with maybe an ideal NFL
Let's reverse it here for a minute. I don't think you necessarily have to describe him maybe as, from a wide receiver standpoint here. As you mentioned, his background as a running back and how they may line him up. I mean, could he have the type of skill set that we see? And he's known as a running back, but he's got a similar all of the field type of skill set at Alvin Kamara, somebody like that, somebody that's that type of weapon.
Yeah, and now that I think about it in my head, what about Darren Sproles?
Yeah.
Where Sproles brings more of a special teams element than maybe Kamara.
Well, we call Hines that, though. So
and that goes back to our debate last week of just how much does Campbell eat into that role for Nyheim Hines, and how willing are the Colts to throw a special teams plate at Paris Campbell? Are they scared of what happened to Nyheim Hines last year, where it was a little bit too much for Hines in the preseason? Now, he had a great regular season, but what do they want to give Paris Campbell? And I think a lot of that will also depend on how the receiver position plays out. If you get into camp and all of a sudden you feel good about Funchess, Deion Kane shows you something that you feel like you can count on, Chester Rogers shows you something, maybe you say, all right, Campbell, you're going to have these packages where when you're on the field, we're going to try and get you the ball, but we also want you to impact the game on special teams, because when's the last time the Colts have returned a kicker or punt for a touchdown?
That's what Hines told me twice. He said, I'm politicking. And I said, well, you want me to mention it? No, I've been politicking behind the scenes of trying to be a punt return guy.
And I don't think that's going to happen again. I think it's either Chester Rogers or Paris Campbell as the punt return. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it's been...
Is Chester Rogers for sure going to make the squad?
I think right now he's on your 53-man roster.
Is there a veteran that you would suggest that, I'm not going to say have trouble, that could be in the crosshairs because of what we view right now as the relative depth of this team?
In terms of getting cut?
Mm-hmm.
Some people have thrown out the name Jabal Sheard. I can't go there at all. I think Sheard is too durable, too of a rundown-centric guy. I think the Colts love just his toughness and how he played through some injuries last year as well. So, when I think of veterans or notable names, I think of Rodgers, maybe some draft picks. What about LaRaven Clark? When you get to the defensive end position, I don't think they would cut Kamoko Toure, but this time last year, Terrell Basham, who was only drafted around later than Toure, he was thought to be he was a starter coming into camp, and then he barely made the 53-man roster, and he was cut a month later. So those are some of the names that I think about. Some people have thrown out. What about, a guy like Jack Doyle? I can't go there at all because
Who's throwing that out?
I've got some trolls on Twitter.
Let's hear about I'm kind of, because I can't see that at all.
No, but these are the people that think Mo Alley Cox and Ross Travis are just ready to blossom.
Okay.
And that Doyle's a guy that battled some injuries last year. And look, you and I both know full well what Frank Reich wants.
I think the quarterback would have a big issue with that.
And so would Reich. Reich played Jack Doyle nonstop last year. So, again...
Maybe that comes from more of an injury. How's he going to look injury-wise?
That's what it is. Yeah. They're thinking more of injury and where you have depth. And tight end, you probably have the most depth of any position group on the team. And the defensive line group as well. If Ben Banogu is really going to be a defensive end, is Kamoko Toure going to see a lot of snaps? A guy like Al-Qadim Muhammad, someone we don't really talk about at all, he started for you late last year. I don't think you would cut him. So it's going to be fascinating to watch where you end up crunching numbers. And obviously injuries will play a huge role because, for the most part, the Colts avoided the catastrophic injury last year. Yes, you had Costanzo banged up a little bit. You had Doyle banged up. You had Marlon Mack banged up. But Matt Slauson went on IR. Tyquan Lewis ended up going on IR late in the season. Outside of that, you really didn't have anybody notable miss a huge chunk. You had Doyle, you had Slauson, and you had Lewis, but Lewis and Slauson, I think, were kind of fringe starters to begin with. So we'll see if they can avoid that here in the next month.
How solid is Quincy Wilson in the secondary? And then maybe even more so with his starting position. And I like him a great deal, and I hope that he is, but is Anthony Walker going to feel some heat?
I think Anthony Walker, I'd still put him as the favorite to win the Mike linebacker job. I think that's the only starting job that's actually open, where it's him, Walker, competing with Bobby Okereke for the starting Mike position. I think Walker plays on early downs, plays against the run, and then Okereke comes on the field and passing downs. I think Walker, at times, he was taken for granted last year. I don't think he played the Giants game late in the season. I thought the defense got exposed in that game a bit. Evan Ingram had a huge game. Saquon Barkley was effective as well. And I think not having him out there hurt you. As far as Quincy Wilson, I think it's him and Rock Yassin for the starting Mike linebacker position, or the starting nickel.
Yeah.
Nickel. I think Kenny Moore and Pierre Desir are definitely your starters in the base defense. And then Rock Yassin or Quincy Wilson would round out that nickel group, which I know on paper, it's not a starter when it gets announced on Sunday, but you know full well that a nickel plays like a starter minutes. So I think that it'll either be Quincy Wilson or Rock being that third corner for you.
1070thefan.com is where you'll find him. Kevin Bowen is here in studio with us. I do want to switch gears from the Colts to the Pacers. Did you read that little blurb that came via J. Michael, the Star, about Tobias Harris? I think he said this in a podcast, that it wasn't that he didn't want to take the Pacers' invitation, but he knew that they weren't going to offer him the max, so that's why he didn't have any interest. I would have been if the Pacers would have offered him, I would have gone crazy over that.
I would have been all
Are you
about
kidding me?
Tobias Harris.
The max here for Tobias Harris would be outside your mind.
You think for the Pacers
Yeah.
to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I would have been about.
Oh man,
I would have been about Harris coming here.
Why?
Because I think
why?
I think you have to find a wing forward scorer that is going to help you out. And I just don't think the current construction, I would have then traded away one of these bigs and try to find your point guard of the future.
But you couldn't do that
with
because
Brogdon.
it would have to be Miles. I mean, it wouldn't be one. It would have to be Miles until you get a new deal, a larger deal for Sabonis.
What I want to know with that J. Michael story is, what were you going to get with the fourth pick? Because he mentioned that in there.
Yeah.
They were trying to go get the fourth pick.
Yeah.
Who are you trying to get there? You trying to get Darius Garland, or
Yeah.
are you trying to get DeAndre Hunter?
Yeah.
Or whoever else? Because if you're going to get Garland, then all of a sudden it's a Garland-Oladipo backcourt. You pay for Tobias Harris. Sabonis is your 5. A Garland-Oladipo Harris-Sabonis lineup. You're going to have to find some sort of wing or small forward in there. To me, that's a decently high ceiling, right?
I'm not a Tobias Harris guy, so.
And I mean,
that's not me. I think the way that Philly is constructed with already guys there, that makes sense. But with building guys here, and as you mentioned, there's no way you can go with the whole big man theory that they're rolling with right now. So
I just think
that to me would have been silly.
You have very little chance to hit a home run in free agency. And I look at it as the opportunity to hit a home run in free agency. If it's there, I would take a swing.
How much of an opportunity do you think they had by virtue of what you read or what he said? Do you think it was deep? Because I don't.
No, I don't, because I don't think Tobias Harris would have entertained the thought that seriously of coming here. And that's what goes back to that's why Brogdon is a great fit, because he wants to be here.
And like we talk to Kevin Pritchard all the time, not everybody's going to work. They don't have a shot at everybody. They're never going to have the shot of everybody, and it takes a special combination or a special makeup. And it's unfortunate because the Pacers, this does not get them on equal footing with everybody else in the NBA, but that's just the way that it is.
No, and that's the reality of the situation. I know you talked to Bob Kravitz about that yesterday of, when you're in this market, that's where you're at. I look at it from, I think Harris has the potential to be an all-star caliber player on an annual basis, and I just don't know if anybody on this roster right now, outside of Victor Oladipo, has that ability.
Yeah.
You know, I think Malcolm Brogdon is a really good fit. Do we sit here and think Brogdon is an annual All-Star?
I don't know if Harris would be a guy that would raise the rest of this team. I think that he's got to have built-in guys around him. That's fair. Why the easy mark for him was Philly, because you already have supposed built-in guys around you. And by the way, so much has been made about the Pacers and going big, and oh my God, I can't. Philly's doing the same thing. I mean, Philly's going to be doing that. You cannot tell me that they're going to keep Horford and Embiid off the floor often. I mean, these guys, they're going to be playing as big as the Pacers. Now, with more of an established talent in Horford, veteran-wise, as certainly an outside big, but, I mean, you watch Embiid's game, that dude wants to play out more than he wants to play in.
Yeah.
He can be dominant all the time in, but he wants to play out.
I mean, Philly's going to be really big. I mean, with Harris, Horford, and Embiid, I mean, that's one of the bigger lineups in the NBA. And yes, you can try and stagger some things when you bring your bench in there and leave Horford into the second unit or Embiid into the second unit, but to start games and end games, you're going to be big. And that's where the Pacers, people are like, well, Sabonis and Turner played well together in stretches last year. Well, when they mostly were on the floor together, it was against other teams, some combination of their bench unit. Because you're bringing Sabonis onto the floor midway through the first quarter, so now some bench players are into the game, and you're leaving Turner out there a little bit more. Now it's, okay, Sabonis and Turner in a starting lineup together. How does that defend against other teams in the East?
So Kevin Bowen in studio. Yeah, I'm not a big Tobias Harris guy. So
Did you want to? I mean, Middleton would that was the other name that J. Michael threw out there. Not in the max, but
yeah, I mean that doesn't do much for me. I mean, it probably should because he's obviously an all-star, but I mean maybe certainly more Middleton than Tobias Harris, but.
Because when we were talking about it during free agency, you always mentioned you got to find the one. You got to find that other score.
You do.
And I really like Brogdon, but early in the year when Victor's out, is Brogdon going to go get you 22 a night when he's the top option?
I think earlier in the year is we're going to see a lot of things that I think are going to distress Pacer fans.
You're going to see T.J. Warren and Jeremy Lamb chuck him.
I also think that you're going to see. I think you're going to see Vic earlier than what certainly the Pacers are talking about too. But we'll see. I just. I think it's going to be somewhat of a struggle. I think we'd all be resigned to the fact of surprise if it's not, right? A little bit of a struggle at the beginning. It's just. Yeah,
you got three newcomers in the backcourt, and you have a starter and Sabonis and Turner trying to play together. Yeah, there are definitely going to be struggles, and as we talked about last week, the schedule, hopefully, for the Pacers' sake, will do them some favors, like it did this year, where the back half of the second half of the schedule is much more loaded.
I'm going to ask you right now, where do they finish? What slot in the East?
I'll go with 5 or 6.
How many teams do you think are better than them or will be better than them this season in the East? Which teams?
I think definitely Milwaukee, Boston, and then after that, I don't have a whole lot of definite answers. I think Philly will be. I think Brooklyn will be. And Toronto and Miami are the two that. I mean, Toronto was 18 and 5 without Kawhi last year.
I had Kyle. I want Kyle to look this up. I can't remember a time when a team that won the NBA title probably won't get a scheduled Christmas Day game. I don't know if that's ever happened in the history of NBA Christmas Day games.
That's a great point.
I mean, they're not going to get one.
Maybe the noon game. Rematch of the conference finals. Noon game.
I mean,
them and the Bucks.
Golden State will get one, but I would assume Golden State. I mean, they'll put Golden State probably Golden State and Houston or something like that.
Oh, of course. Or yeah.
But that's I can't remember a time when a team that won.
Well, it'll be the big game will be Golden State against one of the LA teams, or maybe it'll be LA against LA. Clippers.
It might be LA against LA. Yeah.
Big. Sure. I mean, we know full well the Pacers won't be on Christmas.
No, probably not. All right, what are you writing about?
I posted something earlier today on, what did I post earlier today? Oh, the Colts that have the most pressure on them in 2019. So 6 individual Colts with the most pressure on them this season.
Which ones?
Which players individually, like for a contract situation or team-wise, have the most pressure on them. So it's a combination. It's not like the 6 best players. Like I don't have T.Y. Hilton on that list.
So you got Funchess, Geathers,
I've got Geathers.
No Funches?
I've got Ebron. I went with Ebron or Funches. I went with Ebron.
Ebron. I mean, if Ebron gets upset about his rating in Madden, what's going to happen if they look somebody else this direction? I think for Ebron, I said this earlier. I mean, you're not going to live up to those touchdown catches as you did a year ago, but be more consistent with everything else. That's all you have to be here.
Right. If you are more consistent, Chris Ballard and Frank Reich will want to bring you back next spring.
Quincy Wilson on the list?
Quincy Wilson's on the list.
Oh, yeah.
I put Luck.
Is Walker on the list?
No, I put Luck. I put Anthony Costanzo for different reasons.
Yeah.
Luck, you're 30 years old. You're healthy. You're in Frank Reich's system for the second year. I think it's fair to now say
Ryan Kelly on the list?
No. You named 5 of them. Justin Houston was the 6th one.
Why Justin Houston?
Most important need on the roster.
Yeah.
He's the only guy with any sort of pass rushing history of significance.
I'm telling you, people in Kansas City talk more about his edge protection than they do getting after the quarterback.
But the Colts think he can have 13, 14, 15 sacks. They firmly believe that.
So you're saying they're smarter than like talk show hosts in Kansas City?
Well, some of the talk show hosts in Kansas City.
That one jackwad that got canned.
Haven't had a good run lately, have they?
It wasn't good. Kevin Bowen, 1070thefan.com is always good. Thank you, Kevin.
Yep, enjoyed it.
Kevin Bowen, 1070thefan.com. Take it easy, brother. Appreciate that. Quick break. I'm way over. My bad. I'm back with you next.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. We're almost halfway through summer, and if you haven't found the home of your dreams, I have some great news for you. Mortgage interest rates continue to drop, and we are back to those historic low levels. What does that mean for you? You have a lot more buying power. You can now expand your search to a higher price point and still have the same payment. The 5-minute loan approval only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Yingling Golden Pilsner, a beer so crisp, refreshing, and smooth. When you crack one open, it makes any occasion golden. A night out with the ladies.
I might call it a night. A night to remember.
Game day with your buddies.
Beer man, Pilsner here. And here, and here.
Happy hours come to life.
Could I get a Yingling Golden Pilsner? You know what? Make it a bucket.
Yes, with Yingling Golden Pilsner, card games get wilder.
I should probably fold. But I'd rather go all in.
Even backyard bonfires feel more alive.
Hey guys, I brought my guitar. And my drums.
So no matter where the day takes you, crack open a smooth, refreshing 6 generations in the making Yingling Golden Pilsner and make your day golden. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
As a small business owner, when was the last time you considered switching internet providers?
I don't even remember. Running a business keeps me pretty busy.
Let's compare your current provider to Comcast Business. Are you getting fast, reliable internet?
Sometimes.
How about a full suite of innovative services like separate Wi-Fi networks, 4G wireless backup, and advanced voice solutions?
I highly doubt it.
Sounds like Comcast Business could give you more. Make the switch to the nation's largest gig speed network now and get an amazing deal. Right now, get fast 75 megabit internet for $49.95 per month for 2 years when you add 2 voice mobility lines and sign up for paperless billing and autopay. Call 1-800-501-6000 today. Comcast Business. Beyond fast.
Monthly service charge increases by $10 without paperless billing and autopay. Offer ends 8/21/19. Restrictions apply. New business customers only. 2-year agreement required. Early termination fee applies. Equipment taxes and fees extra subject to change. Backup limited to up to 8 hours.
Best service, best products. Do it best.
Hi, Pat Sullivan here of Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Yes, we have thousands of home improvement items in stock, but what separates us are the things you won't find in a typical big box store. A wide selection of annuals and perennials, many grown right here in Indianapolis. A wide array of patio furniture at our Keystone location, our Weber grills, and don't forget the world's best smoker and grill, the Big Green Egg, available at Sullivan Hardware and Garden.
Minimize the work and maximize the fun on your deck. Use Super Deck Exterior Stain for wood surfaces including decks, fences, siding, and furniture. Available in 63 colors, and one coat application will give years of protection. Now save $8 per gallon sized container after rebate on all exterior care products. See store for details. Super Deck is only available at independent retailers like your neighborhood do-it-best store.
Shop local, shop do it best. Visit Sullivan Hardware and Garden, 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, and in Cicero.
Best
Hey, I talk all the time about how your cooling unit in your home, you got to make sure that's running right. Well, here's another thing, too. How about your car, truck, or van right now? Make sure that AC unit's good to go for this weekend when temps are nearing triple digits. And stop by a CarX location run by Joe Childers here in central Indiana, and they will inspect your entire AC system for just $19.99. Man, that is great peace of mind, knowing that if you're out and about and you're going to be this weekend, that you're going to be cool and comfortable in your car, truck, or van. $19.99 for that CarX inspection for the entire AC system. And also right now, a lifetime guaranteed brake pad for your vehicle. $89.99 per axle on most vehicles. CarX has always been the best in brakes. And everything you need on your vehicle, from just normal maintenance to anything mechanical. Great prices, incredible service, and people you can count on. Tell Joe Childers that I sent you Central Indiana and make it CarX today.
We're all trying to get in a little bit better shape these days. Some of us use the weight room, some like to run and hike, while others play the sports we love. But unfortunately, almost all of us will end up with some kind of ailment from trying to stay fit, and that's where Franciscan Health Orthopedics comes in. They'll fix what ails you so you can stay active. Again, it's okay to push yourself, but sometimes we go too far. And when that happens, the orthopedic experts at Franciscan Health are there for you. From sprains and tears to fractures and dislocations, they'll get you back in the game. Franciscan Health Orthopedics, inspiring health.
Out here, you need to control your environment, or it may control you. You need the Kubota L2501DT compact tractor. It comes with all the easy-to-use implements you need. Get the L2501DT for as low as $139 a month with 0% APR financing for 84 months plus a 6-year warranty. Now through August 31st, 2019. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com.
Find a Kubota dealer near you at GoKubota.com.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Save up to $120 with the purchase of select tires using your Big O credit card. See store for details. Now open in Whitestown.
The Ride with JMV.
It's Jim Pemery. Now talk to him, damn it.
FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Thanks to Kevin Bowen, podcast, 1070thefan.com. Amp Harris on there, too. The Amp Harris Reggie Wayne basketball game. Free. Indiana Black Expo on Saturday at 6. I think it's Hall F, the Convention Center. I'll be there. It's free. Come and join us and have a blast. One of my loves, Guy, Teddy Riley and Guy, will be playing down here downtown, I believe, free, coming up on Friday, too. Amp is a great dude. We'll get Reggie Wayne later on this week to talk about this game, the Colts, coming up here as they're set to report to camp. And Teddy Riley, who is just legendary, iconic when it comes to hip-hop music and New Jack Swing. Teddy Riley should be joining us on tomorrow's show. Stephen Holder a little bit earlier, too, from The Athletic. More Colts stuff for you, podcast at 1070thefan.com. I mentioned tomorrow's show, Ted Bishop. Of course, from the Legends, we'll talk up the Open, a little bit of golf side for you. I had reached out, and I now have a number. I'm going to get Tommy John on this show. I don't know if it's going to be at the end of this week and maybe at the beginning of next, but I've been wanting to get the Terre Haute native Tommy John Surgery, former left-handed pitcher, on the show for a while, and we'll do that. I don't know by the end of the week, but certainly at some point early next week. And also tomorrow, and I can't wait for this too, they're going to be in town. I want to say in August. I don't have it right in front of me, but I want to say in August they'll be in town. It'll be Alice in Chains and Korn, and the great Jerry Cantrell is going to join me on the show coming up at 4:15 tomorrow. Jerry Cantrell, who's a big football fan, big-time Seahawks fan, big into fantasy football. And I love Alice in Chains. Cantrell's one of my all-time favorites. He's been on before, and he's going to join us tomorrow at 4:15. And John Conchar's locked in tomorrow, former Fort Wayne standout. He's got a two-way deal with the Memphis Grizzlies and had a really nice couple of stints, not only in the Vegas League, but in the league they played in Salt Lake City. John Conchar, the Grizzlies, scheduled to join us coming up on tomorrow's show. So a lot of Colts, a lot of Pacers stuff today. We've talked about whether or not this Colts era can be equal to or maybe even greater than that of the Dungy, Polian, Manning era. Something we brought up, I got to put that up at 1070thefan.com. Check that. I got to put that up at JMV 1070 on Twitter for our Connecticut water question of the day. But a lot of different things so far. JMV, have you ever used CBD oil on your stuff? Is that even legal? I'm asking for a friend. What happens if I put CBD oil on my stuff? I've never put it on my stuff, my junk. I've never attempted to put CBD oil, Paul, on my junk. I don't know what that. Normally, the CBD oil that I've had normally is taken orally. You squirt it in your mouth and put it under your tongue for about a minute. I do have some rub on, but I certainly wouldn't rub that there. That would probably sting a little bit. So no, Paul, I have not. JMV, I just signed you, Fisk, and Munger and myself up for Gus Macker. It's on. And no way I'm playing a Gus Macker. I proclaimed that, I want to say back in 1996. I said, nope, this is it. Between Memorial Stadium and Assembly Hall, and I think it was 45 degrees, and it was cold. It was in April, and what they used to do is they used to put these pieces of flooring together for the championship teams to play on. But in this case, it was bad because it was raining and you slid all over the place and it was a mess and everybody got mad and yelled and cussed and acted like a jackass. Yeah, by the way, too, Bobby Cox, the IHSAA commissioner, was in here. Man, everybody's got to settle down at games. Please, can we stop the jackassery? Stop getting tossed out of games. And parents, stop. Can we stop the jackassery? I forget what he had said was the level in which the percentage it has gone up, but good Lord. It's not going to stop, and it's probably only going to get worse. But the jackassery is ridiculous. Well, from parents to coaches, from parents to... It's all revolving around the parents. Stop being a jackass. JMV, better yet, does PAI do anything for your stuff? Need a reside? No PAI there. No, just on top, man. Hey, JMV, I know you don't talk politics, but Rand Paul appears to be a weasel. Listen, it doesn't take much to recognize that Rand Paul, and I don't know anything about politics, Rand Paul should be in the dictionary or encyclopedia next to weasel. Right there, weasel. Thank you for bringing that up, though. JMV, the max for Tobias Harris? Yeah, I'm not down with that program. Thank you. Appreciate it. JMV, did you ask if this Colts group was better than the Manning, Dungy, and Polian group? No, this is what I asked. I said that further down the road, could they be equal to or greater than that era? Nothing's ever going to equate to it because we know what we all went through prior to the start of that, and that's always going to be the determining factor. But as far as winning more than one Super Bowl, might this group be equal to or greater than? That was the question. Hey, listen, there's no bigger batting guy than me around here. JMV, you do not put the CBD oil there. I haven't put the CBD oil there. JMV, I just get in my car. I'm headed home. The first thing I hear on the radio is you talking about jackassery. Stop getting thrown out of games, sporting event. I mean, summer, winter, spring, and fall. At some point, just stop being a jackass. Anti-jackassery. All right, we got the Harris Hoosier Park race of the day. Let's go ahead and do this right now, by the way, too. Goo Goo Dolls, train tickets. Caller 2, check that. Caller 7, 239-1070. We'll go a pair for you, Goo Goo Dolls and Train. That's on Sunday. So you got to turn it around. You got to win these and then get your ass down here and then pick them up. All right? Sunday at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. It's Johnny Resnick and the Goo Goo Dolls and what's his name, who's a great interview of Train. The chicks will be out in force because the chicks love them some Train. The group. Train and Goo Goo Dolls. Caller 7, stop it. What are we all, 13? 239-1070. That, the Harris Hoosier Park race of the day, straight at you. Next.
Your next haircut now has a shortcut. Introducing the Sport Clips Haircuts app. That's right, now the cut you want is just a tap away. Just download the app, check in at your neighborhood Sport Clips, and choose your Guy Smart stylist, and you're done. We'll text you when your stylist is almost ready. Then head to Sport Clips for a championship haircut experience. It's home field advantage for your hair. No appointment needed. Just download the Sport Clips app and check in. And don't forget a beard trim. Sport Clips. You choose the cut, we cut the weight.
Hey, John, for 1 hour heating and air conditioning, 844 1 hour. The heat is on. The late, great Glenn Fry once belted out those lyrics right there. The heat is on. So you got to make sure your cooling unit inside's keeping you cool and comfortable. Let me tell you, it takes a beating when the temperatures are getting as hot as they're going to get for the next 5 or so days. Call 1 hour heating and air conditioning at 844 1 hour. And with any repair job, you get a free appointment. It's that easy, too. A free service call with any repair job with 1 hour heating and air conditioning at 844 1 hour. You got to make sure you're comfortable. Do it and do it right now. That's 844 1 hour today.
Hubler has it. Savings. Hubler has it. Choices. Hubler has it. Hubler has it all.
Indiana's Auto Giant is changing car buying forever. Introducing a warranty so huge, you can drive around the world 8 times and still be covered. It's Hubler Auto Group's massive 10-year, 200,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Shop any new vehicle at all Hubler locations with the warranty included. Chevys, Buicks, GMCs, and Fords. The warranty's included. Acuras, Hondas, Nissans, and Mazdas. The warranty's included. The Hubler family has helped Hoosiers for 60 years, and we're not stopping now. Visit drivehubler.com for the perfect car and our 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty. As Indiana's Auto Giant, Hubler has it all. Why buy anywhere else? You're invited to Hubler. Click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it. Hubler has it all.
Warranty available on new vehicles, except certain models, not transferable or available on leases. A copy of the warranty is available for review at the dealership.
Brad Paisley, World Tour. Where the cowboy gets this Saturday, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center with special guests Chris Lane and Riley Green. Brad Paisley. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. This Saturday, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center.
Harris Hoosier Park race of the day. Here's the lineup. Roger Grismore gets Hang On. Woodside, Date and Diva going to Jordan. Gareth Galino gets Jailbreak Jess. Jeff Edwards with So Foxy. Taylor gets Classic Money. Brian Bays gets The Swan for Jesse. Tim Should, Bluebird, Lady Luck. And Gary Foster with Line and CO. Let's roll it, Kyle. The Harris Hoosier Park race of the day.
The following is presented by the Indiana Standard Bred Breed Development Program. From Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino, it's time for the harness race of the day on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
And they're off. Trotting right out, Lanuncio from the front side will circle and take the lead. Woodside, Dayton Diva to the inside, and a Bluebird Lady Luck showing early hoof here, and moving there between horses, it's Jailbreak Jess. Out in fifth then, it's Hang On, followed by Swan for Jesse. Then it's Classic Money, and the trailer off stride is So Foxy. Around the turn, they trot over to the quarter-mile marker. Lanuncio, the Guccio filly, has a lead here by 3 parts of a length. 29-4 for that opening quarter time as the Bluebird Lady Luck drives on to the outside. And the Bluebird Lady Luck now takes a short lead, a nose, now a length. So Bluebird Lady Luck powers to the lead, taking command for Shetler. Lanuncio to the inside, trots in second. Woodside Dayton Diva gaps in third, then it's Jailbreak Jess trotting fourth. A gap of some 5 lengths to hang on fifth. To the outside is sixth is a Swan for Jesse. Classic Money is next in the seventh, and the trailer back trotting, it's So Foxy, 59-4 for the halftime. And here's a new leader now as Lanancio retakes for Finn. So Lanancio taking command as they circle the turn, and here comes Woodside Dayton Diva. The Guccio filly's out to challenge. She's moving from third to second. She's at the leader's wheel. Now Bluebird Lady Luck. The Whom Shall I Fear filly sits behind battling leaders in third as Jailbreak Jess slowly cuts into the leaders' lead. They trot to 3/4 and 1:30-1. Turning for home, Lanancio leads to the outside. Woodside Dayton Diva still there looming in second. Bluebird Lady Luck dropping back just a bit now with less than an eighth of a mile to go. Lanancio to the outside. Woodside Dayton Diva is a lingering a second. Now she's turning up the heat on Lanancio. Woodside Dayton Diva. Lanancio digging in gamely as these two Guccio fillies go head-to-head down to the line. Too close to call. May have been Woodside Dayton Diva in 1:59.
Just minutes from Indy off I-69 in Anderson, Harrah's Hoosier Park has standard bred horse racing through November 9th, thanks in part to the Indiana Standard Bred Breed Development Program. And keep listening for your chance to win with Harrah's Hoosier Park Harness Race of the Day on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Mortgage interest rates continue to drop week after week. Don't miss your chance to lock in to one of these historically low interest rates. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
We've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Join us as a winner. Woodside Dayton Diva. Is that what it is? Lanancio and Bluebird Lady Luck, 2 and 3. The exact paid out $8, $226 for the superfecta. The try goes $4.95. Harrah's Hoosier Park Race of the Day, right here, 4 days a week. Gotta listen for. By the way, too, if you have time, go up to Harrah's Hoosier Park in Anderson, have a great day and a great meal, and tell my friends Todd and Rick and the gang over there we said hello. Kirsten, tell them we said hello. We love them. Like Diana Ross. When's Diana Ross going to be up there? Diana Ross? Legendary Diana Ross? Let's see. Have I already missed it? Maybe I did. I saw Bill Biv DeVoe up there back in the end of May. Yeah, nope, I'm sorry. July 26th, Diana Ross. You know how amazing that is? Diana Ross. She's going to be singing some Upside Down. Upside Down. Anyway, great show today. I appreciate everybody's involvement in it, as usual. To Stephen Holder, Ann Paris, Kevin Bowen podcast at 1070thefan.com. Right there. Thank you. JMV, let's get a You Suck bus to storm Area 51. You can do your show live with aliens as a guest. Is anybody storming Area? What's the storming Area 51? Help me out here. Do you know what that is? Area 51, I know, is where they supposedly have
I think it's just a bunch of people that they don't trust the government. They think aliens are there, so they think if they form a big group, they won't be able to be stopped, and we'll see what's going on.
How many people? Do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, I believe in aliens.
You do?
Yeah. There's got to be. I mean, the universe is so big, right?
Why don't we see? We got to see something. We got these big ass telescopes out there. Why don't we see anything? You guys, Kyle,
aliens are too good for that technology. They're way above that.
Wait a minute. How many people out there believe in aliens right now? See, they're going to end up putting this show national like overnight. And I'm going to be talking about crap like this one of these days. When I just go badass crazy and lose my mind, I'll be like, what about aliens? What about ghosts? You believe in ghosts?
Yeah, I believe in ghosts.
So Kyle believes in aliens and ghosts. I'm sorry, man. I got to see it to believe it. I got to see something. Give me something. And we all had these haunted places. Like there was a haunted bridge near me. I peed off the haunted bridge a couple of times. Everything was okay. Area 51. See, that's a great Connecticut water question of the day. Hey, speaking of which, too, I got to get with Andy Wilson. I think I'm going to have tickets. I'm glad, Scott and New Pal, you brought this up. Billy Bob Thornton is going to be playing in Fountain Square coming up this weekend. Let's see what day that is here, too. I'm going to get tickets for you. I'm not going to do it right now. Give me a minute. I'm going to wait until tomorrow and give somebody tickets to go see Billy Bob Thornton's band. Now, I know you guys are all going to go down there and they'll go, hey, French fried taters. You guys are all going to go down there and do that, aren't you? You don't care anything about the music of Billy Bob Thornton. You're going to go down there and say French fried taters the entire time. We'll do that tomorrow. Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains tomorrow, 4:15. Be there for it. Mike Chappell, per usual. Ted Bishop of the Legends tomorrow, talking some golf, too. Maybe Teddy Riley, maybe Reggie Wayne. Should be fun. Great job, Kyle. Kyle believes in aliens. Do you? Back with you tomorrow at 3.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122 or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis,